Since I was young, my mother taught me, no matter how fragrant poop is, I shouldn't take things that others don't want. So when the princess of Beijing's high society, Liu Ru Yan, was abandoned by the groom right at her wedding, she angrily threw the ring towards me, who was standing below the stage, and said, "Put it on. You will be the groom today." All the guests thought that I, the Liu family's adopted son who acts like a bootlicker all day, who has been tailing Liu Ru Yan since childhood, would happily run up and put on the ring. But instead, I retorted, "Whoever wears the ring becomes the groom. Is that it?" After receiving her confirming nod, I picked up the ring and put it on the collar of a dog that was passing by. "Then you'd better keep your word." After saying that, I stood up. I picked up the pet dog, not knowing which guest it belonged to, and walked right up to Liu Ru Yan. I smiled gently, because I don't want things that others have discarded. The entire hall was in an uproar. Shocking. Liu Ru Yan is marrying a dog. Shocking. I don't want things that others have discarded. Shocking. Chen Fan has finally stood up for himself. My feat of openly provoking Liu Ru Yan at her wedding went viral all over Weibo. The next development was the dog's emotional owner, shouting at the camera, "I agree. I agree to let my son marry into the Liu family." As for me, who was usually cursed by netizens for being hopelessly devoted to Liu Ru Yan, I was praised for having charisma for the first time, but the price for being cool was that I was kicked out of the Liu family that very night. It was pouring rain at the time. I stood in the rain, drenched like a drowned rat. My luggage was scattered at my feet. "Either you kneel here all night, or you get lost. Who the hell do you think you are, daring to upset the young miss?" the butler said coldly, and slammed the door shut. I said nothing, just looked up at the second floor. Liu Ru Yan was standing by the window. She was waiting for me to apologize. It has always been this way. Whenever I did something wrong, I would have to kneel within her line of sight until she calmed down. Liu Ru Yan leisurely tapped on the windowsill, silently counting down the seconds until the person downstairs would kneel. 3, 2, 1. The figure in the rain indeed slowly bent down. A smile appeared on the corners of Liu Ru Yan's lips, contemptuous and triumphant. Just as expected, she was about to turn away, when her gaze suddenly froze. She saw me rummaging through the luggage on the ground, and I pulled out a bottle of shampoo, opened the cap, and squeezed it directly onto my head. I sat right there on the ground, casually rubbing it in and washing my hair in the rain. Liu Ru Yan's pupils trembled in shock. If God has blessed my world with a heavy rain, then I will pull out the shampoo and take the opportunity to wash my hair. After washing my hair, I packed my luggage and proudly turned and left in the downpour. I was known as the adopted son of the Liu family, but in reality, my status in the Liu household was worse than a dog's. When I was 8 years old, my scumbag father scammed the Liu family out of 10 million yuan. When he ran away, he left me with the Liu family to pay off the debt. The Liu family hated my father to the bone. Naturally, they didn't spare me either. From then on, my days of torment began. But the Liu family cared about their reputation. It was hard for them to explain my origins to outsiders, so they announced that I was their adopted son. They even gained a reputation for being charitable. Throughout all these years, I've always had to battle wits and will with the Liu family. When I should have resisted, I begged for mercy. When I should have apologized, I knelt. I may have seemed submissive and forbearing, but in reality, it was because I had no other choice. But today, the timid turtle Chen Fan bravely stuck his head out, taking a small step in confronting the Liu family, and soon it will be a giant leap. I am done serving this wretched Liu family. On the second floor of the Liu residence, Liu Ru Yan's suppressed rage finally erupted. She slammed her fist on the windowsill. "Lao Qin, who allowed you to turn off the air conditioner?" The butler who had been so arrogant in front of me just moments ago was now dripping with cold sweat. "Miss, I didn't turn off the air conditioner. It's just that, for some reason, all the air conditioner remotes in the house are missing." "Then go get an electric fan. You're so useless." "Ill. Go right away." "I am going right now." The butler didn't dare to delay. He hurriedly ordered the servants to bring a fan into the study. The fan was turned on. The cool breeze somewhat alleviated Liu Ru Yan's stuffiness, but it couldn't extinguish the fire of rage in her heart. Du Zitang running away from the wedding. She was already extremely annoyed by that. And now this dog, Chen Fan, dared to refuse to be the groom. Now he even dares to cause trouble. The phone on the table suddenly vibrated. Liu Ru Yan frowned and picked it up. It turned out I had just posted a status on Weibo. The post didn't have a single word, only a single picture of a table filled with all kinds of air conditioner remotes. Her anger instantly flared up. "Chen Fan, I think you have a death wish." Before she could finish her sentence, her eyes suddenly froze. She saw another corner of the photo. Besides a table full of air conditioner remotes, there was also a wrench and a few screws. At that exact moment, clank, 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 the electric fan, which was running normally, suddenly seemed to mutate. It shook violently, making strange noises. Liu Ru Yan had a bad feeling and looked up, and witnessed a scene she would never forget for the rest of her life. Boom, boom. All the screws on the fan's frame shot out. The fan blades flew out one by one like hidden weapons. From the very first day I set foot in the Liu family's house, I had set a goal for myself, to save up 10 million yuan, to buy back my own freedom. So, I endured the humiliation and threw myself into the entertainment industry, struggling for so many years. After transferring 10 million yuan to Liu Ru Yan's card, the Liu family and I no longer have any relationship. I sent the message. The other end replied almost immediately. Is this why you dared to be so stubborn with me today? Chen Fan, you think you can still survive in showbiz after offending the Liu family? I just smiled without replying. Sorry, I don't plan on struggling anymore. Liu Ru Yan. Actually, there's something I have to tell you. The song Love Sickness you sang at the wedding today was truly, deadly, awful. After sending that message, without giving her a chance to react, I immediately blocked her number. I took out from my drenched bag a file wrapped in a waterproof bag. I didn't leave without preparation. Even though I paid 10 million yuan to leave the Liu family, I still need money to live on later. I understand this point very well. It's just that I never intended to stay in the entertainment industry. Outsiders thought I was desperate to climb the social ladder, that I would use any means necessary, that I was crazy for fame. Who would have known I only entered showbiz to make money? Now that I have enough money, I don't need to stay here anymore. Hello, Director Liu, that show of yours? I agree to participate. Recently, the famous reality show director Liu Haimyu held an online poll. The 3 artists most hated by netizens. He would invite them to a reality show. The loser of the show would have their career frozen for 3 years. The poll had just been launched, and it exploded across all forums. Netizens from all over flocked to it, not hesitating to cast their vote. If Director Liu wants to go all out, then he should invite Chen Fan. I've found him an eyesore for a long time. He just relies on his status as the Liu family's adopted son to snatch resources from others everywhere. In reality, without the Liu family, his nothing. Support. My idol also had his resources snatched by him. I support freezing Chen Fan's career. As one of the guests with the highest nominations, I received a warm invitation from the director. At first, I was hesitant. A show that puts artists on trial like this, you don't need to think to know it won't be kind to the guests. But the thing is, Liu Ru Yan threw the ring in my face, right in the middle of her wedding, and even wanted me to be the substitute groom. Good heavens. Liu Ru Yan, you won't get away with this. I kowtowed to the Liu family, merely to live in peace. But that doesn't mean I am willing to sell my body. Leaving the Liu family was extremely urgent, so I made a counterintuitive decision to join the show that sounded terrible just from its name. The artists who fail on the show and have their careers frozen will receive 3 million yuan in compensation. This line in the contract is my goal. 3 years in exchange for 3 million yuan. For other artists, it's not worth it. But for someone like me who just left the Liu family with nothing, it's a huge sum of money. I've already offended the Liu family, so there's no way for me to stay in showbiz anyway. So why not make this one last score? Take the 3 million yuan and retire for good. Start a new, free, and wonderful life. At this moment, a piece of entertainment news popped up on my phone. It was director Liu who had just posted a new status, attracting a lot of attention. New reality show, Black Fans Rule the World is coming soon. I will invite the 3 most hated artists on social media, at Go Ci Bai, at Chen Fan, at Yao Shu Ling, along with their biggest black fans. These 3 pairs of artists and black fans will begin a 2-month journey of living together. During the show, I will ask the black fans a question a total of 8 times, which is, do you want the artists you hate to have their career frozen? If the answer is yes, 5 or more times, then that artist will be cancelled for 3 years. This experiment of hatred between black fans and artists, I will call it the hate show. Before, there were dating shows. Now, there's a hate show. Director Lia's Black Fans Rule the World program has become the most anticipated reality show online. The number of discussions quickly reached 100 million, but most suspected the show was scripted, because apart from Go Si Bai, someone from the Liu family like me, and Yao Shu Ling from the Yao Corporation, are all children of incredibly wealthy capitalists. The comment section was boiling. Does anyone actually believe this kind of show? There's no way they'll really get cancelled. It's obviously just using this show to whitewash their image. I can guess the whole process. They'll get on camera and start crying, then explain away their past scandals, blah blah blah. After that, they'll shake hands and make peace with the black fan. And finally, a perfectly happy ending. Faced with these doubts, Director Liu didn't offer any explanation, but instead used practical actions to prove everything on the first day of broadcast. On a beautiful Saturday, the most anticipated show, Black Fans Rule the World, officially went on air. This reality show debuted as a live stream on all platforms. Tens of millions of viewers flooded in to watch. The first scene they saw was the 3 participating artists, locked in transparent glass cages in 3 different rooms. Their hands were tied tightly, and they were blindfolded. Room number 1 was Gu Ci Bai. Room number 2 was Yao Shu Ling. Room number 3 was Chen Fan. Holy crap, what is this? I thought this show was scripted. Why are they going so hard right from the start? First, the blindfolds. Now they're locked in glass cages. It feels like they're about to be executed. I think these commenters are so easily led. Their hands are just tied. It's no big deal. These artists are really delicate flowers. This comment had just scrolled past when the director's emotionless voice echoed in each room. The water tank escape challenge is about to begin. As the 3 most hated artists on social media, you will have to face judgment from your black fans. The show has invited your black fans. They are in another room, monitoring your every move. Next, the black fans will ask you 3 questions. You must provide an answer. If the black fan is not satisfied with your answer, the water tank you are standing in will begin to fill with water. After being filled 3 times, you will be completely submerged. Conversely, if you satisfy the black fan, you will receive the key to escape. Are you ready? The game officially begins. As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of running water immediately echoed in the room. Inside the glass cage, which was previously empty, water suddenly began to leak from the bottom. The bone-chilling water quickly rose to my ankles. With my vision completely deprived, this challenge was no different from torture. The artist in room number 1, Gu Sibai, thanks to his noble and elegant appearance. Since his debut, he has always played the role of a cold and arrogant male lead. Initially, he attracted countless female fans. He was once among the top-tier artists, but later he was hit with a major scandal. He was exposed for dating while maintaining a single image, and he was even two-timing. There were even rumors of him being kept by a rich woman. Thus, he comfortably sat at the number 1 spot on the most hated artists list. Hearing the content from the speaker, he didn't show any displeasure, but spoke calmly and sincerely. If I have made everyone hate me, then it must be because I have done something wrong. Feel free to ask any questions you have. I am ready to accept judgment. Online comments. This Gu Sibai doesn't seem like what I imagined. When I read the rumors before, I thought he was a cunning, shrewd type of person. Unexpectedly, he seems quite sincere. So are those dating scandals real or fake after all? Weren't there a lot of chat screenshots leaked back then? Actually, text messages can be faked. When you're too famous, it's easy for people to get jealous. Gu Sibai's lips curved up discreetly, just as expected. The screen must be filled with hired water army comments whitewashing him right now. This was indeed a show labeled as authentic. Director Liu Mu was also famous for saying no to scripted arrangements, but was that really the truth? In reality, it wasn't. A show specializing in criticizing and judging artists like this. What sane artist would be foolish enough to participate? So he had already reached an agreement with director Liu. The show would replace his black fan with actors to fully cooperate in the on-air whitewashing campaign. The 3 questions the black fan was about to ask, he had also coordinated them with the show beforehand. Everything was under his control. Static. The speaker crackled to life again. The black fan's voice, altered by a voice changer, came through. Gu Sibai. First question. I heard that to debut, you simultaneously clung to 3 sponsors, juggling between 3 investors while cheating on your girlfriend at the time, who worked part-time to buy you designer underwear. In the end, you wore that very pair of designer underwear to appear before one of the sponsors to win your debut male lead role. Is this true? The smile on Gu Sibai's lips froze. Why wasn't this like the script we agreed on? The artist in room number 2, girl group member Yao Shuling, also the young miss of the Yao Corporation. She debuted from a survival reality show and was active in a girl group. After becoming famous, she was exposed for hogging resources within the group. Yao Shuling left the group and was labeled an artist who relies on power. She's been criticized by netizens ever since, and the comments are going wild. Daily question. Has Sister Yao disappeared from showbiz today, using her good family background to snatch resources from her group members, and yet she pretends to love them in public, building a fake, nice girl image? I really can't stand her. How well the group I cover has developed after she left is enough to prove everything. Yao Shuling, standing in the water tank, slightly raised her chin, like a proud black swan. Of course, she came here to whitewash her image. A show with such a high risk of being cancelled, only a fool would dive in headfirst. But director Liu had promised her beforehand that the black fan would definitely not vote to cancel her, and would even help promote her works on the show to boost her reputation. With such benefits, why would she be foolish enough not to do it? Yao Shuling sneered inwardly, but that smugness was quickly extinguished by the cold voice from the speaker. Fill the tank. Yao Shuling was stunned. Wait, you haven't even asked the question yet. The person on the other end didn't pay any attention to what she said. Fill it all the way. Yao Shuling was completely bewildered. Room number 3. I had just stepped into the water tank. My whole body was standing ramrod straight, looking like a toilet plunger pressed firmly to the ground, not moving an inch. There was a dead silence from the speaker. After a moment, the black fan's voice was heard. Even with the voice changer, you could still hear the sound of gritted teeth. Move your foot. I remained standing straight, refusing to move. Move it now. Still ramrod straight, not budging. The 2 were at a stalemate again, just like the 2 rooms next door. Just a moment ago, I had also received questions from the black fan, except I came here to get cancelled, so I had no intention of answering properly. So when the black fan asked, I heard you relied on the Liu family's backing to snatch resources from others everywhere. How do you explain this? I replied, there's nothing to explain. If I could take that resource, it proves it wasn't that important anyway. The black fan asked, the internet rumors say you want to marry into the family to become the master of the Liu family alongside Liu Ru Yan. How do you explain this? I replied, liking to live off a woman is a personal preference. Do I have to explain this too? The black fan asked again. Then why did you refuse the proposal from Liu Ru Yan at her wedding? I replied, you city folk call that a marriage proposal? I thought she was coming to take my life. The black fan couldn't take it anymore. Can you please be a little serious? I don't have time to joke with you. I giggled. Then we can joke later when you're free. The black fan was provoked to the point of madness and started screaming into the speaker. demanding to fill the tank, but a long time passed, and still, nothing happened. There was only me, standing in the water tank, maintaining a very strange posture, until the other end faintly transmitted. The conversation between the directing team and the black fan. It's not that the pump is broken, it's that the water nozzle is clogged. Our water tank pumps water up from the bottom, but Chen Fan is standing right on the two nozzles with his feet. Under the blindfold, I slowly broke into a smile. I am not good for much else, but my sense of danger is extremely sharp. From the moment the water started leaking in, I had already located the nozzles, and since then, my toes began a super project. Right now, my two big toes are clamped tightly onto the two water nozzles, but honestly, it's starting to get tiring. Online comments, that's enough. I said that's more than enough. The level of weirdness in this scene is like I am waiting outside a delivery room, and the baby runs out to ask me whether to keep the doctor or the nurse. The black fan in room 1 is dropping shocking scandals. The black fan in room 2 demands to fill the tank at every turn. And in room 3, there's just me, standing at attention in a water tank. What kind of bizarre show is this? Really? If you can't pump the water, increase the power. Do I have to teach you this too? Is this the only level of competence your team has? The black fan's helpless voice came from the speaker. The prop staff couldn't handle the pressure, and was frantically pressing the button to increase the water pressure, continuously increasing the level, and increasing it again and again. Finally, boom. A loud explosion was heard. The extremely strong current of water shot me straight into the air. A flying person has appeared. Holy moly. An aerial Superman, he soared right up to the sky. Doesn't this count as a successful escape? Anyway, I managed to get out. The years of humiliation I endured at the Liu family's house have made my ability to take a beating incredibly respectable. So even though I was shot out of the water tank like a rocket, it didn't affect my mobility at all. I removed my restraints and blindfold. When I walked out of room number 3, I happened to run into the other two guests, who were drenched like drowned rats. It was Gu Xiaibei, whose face was darkening. Yao Shuling's makeup and hair were ruined by the drenching. Enemies meet. A bloody storm is inevitable. I had already prepared myself for a fight. Then I saw Gu Zibai approaching with a smile, looking extremely gentlemanly. Miss Yao, Brother Chen. Hello, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the actor, Gu Zibai. From now on, we'll be filming this show together. I hope everyone will take good care of me. People often say you can't hit a smiling face, even though she was on the verge of collapse from the water bucket torture. Yao Shuling still forced a smile and shook his hand. I hope for your care. I looked at Gu Zibai, who was acting so polite, and fell into deep thought. This Gu Zibai guy, whenever he usually sees me, he's always calling me a wild pheasant this and a wild pheasant that. Why is he speaking like a human today? Is this the power of the camera? In response to that, I smiled back. Oh, Gu Zibai is still alive? The fake smile on Gu Zibai's face started to show a crack. Sorry for being presumptuous. I mean, why aren't you dead yet? And so, the hashtag why isn't he Gu Zibai dead yet? Hashtag Chen Fans. Meteoric rise. Hashtag Yao Shuling tormented by anti-fan. The hate reality show had only been on air for an hour. A series of shocking keywords had already climbed the hot search rankings. The opening with the water buckets broke the usual rules of previous entertainment shows. It truly was an eye-opener for the netizens. In an instant, countless curious netizens flooded in to watch, afraid of missing even a single dramatic moment on the show. After the water bucket challenge ended, the challenges for the celebrities were still ongoing, led by the staff. The 3 celebrities arrived at the hotel, the grand lobby of the building. In front of them were 3 doors. Each door had different keyword labels on it. The announcer's voice came over the speakers again. Next up is the one-on-one heart-to-heart session between the celebrity and their anti-fan in a private room. But before the session begins, please use the labels on the doors to correctly find your own anti-fan. If you choose wrong, you'll have to bear the consequences. A very clear warning. Just look at the water bucket scene from earlier. You don't even have to think to know how disastrous the price for choosing wrong will be. Let me go first. Gu Zibai, who just lost face, finally found a chance to show off his gentlemanly demeanor. My upbringing doesn't allow me to watch my friends get hurt right in front of me. I opened my mouth to say something, then stopped. So your upbringing allows you to call others wild pheasants? Gu Zibai calmly walked up to the 3 doors and observed the labels on them one by one. Door number 1, super handsome guy, 187 centimeters, pyramid scheme leader. Door number 2, contrasting beauty, homes. Door number 3, pretty boy, microscope. The comment section exploded again. What are all these random keywords? There's a handsome guy, a beauty, and even a pretty boy. What's with this? It's like, I almost thought I'd stumbled onto a matchmaking scene. I don't believe their real-life looks are that good. Gu Zibai just glanced once and smirked slightly. I already have the answer. After saying that, he confidently walked towards door number 3. The moment the door was pushed open, his smile grew even brighter. He said while entering and looking back, this level of deduction isn't hard at all. Everyone just needs to pay a little attention. Before he could finish his sentence, a powerful force suddenly burst out from the room, aiming straight at his face. The next second, Gu Zibai's entire body was thrown out. Damn! Gu Zibai got hit by a fart cannon. What the hell is a fart cannon? Ha ha ha. No way, bro. Yao Shuling was startled. What's going on? Does that mean he chose wrong? The announcer's voice was as cold as ever. Yes, you chose wrong. So there's a cannon in the room. If you open the wrong door, you get blasted with water, right? Zibai was blasted so hard he doesn't look human anymore. He looked terrible. He couldn't understand how a show meant to redeem his image could torture him to this extent. But on second thought, redeeming his image right from the start would seem a bit fake. There have to be some obstacles to make the show not look scripted. Let's do it again. Unwilling to give up, he stood up and walked towards door number 1. He turned the doorknob and pushed it open. Blasted for the second time in a row. I gave him a thumbs up in admiration. Your process of elimination is truly top-notch. So tell me, have you found the answer yet? Why didn't I realize Chen Fan's mouth was so venomous before? He only dares to act tough out here. In front of the Liu family, he's just a sycophantic errand boy. How ridiculous. After eliminating 2 wrong answers, the correct answer was already obvious. Zibai could no longer maintain his detective-like demeanor from before. With an ugly expression, he walked towards the second door. He never expected that the anti-fan the show found for him would be a female actress. This is just too absurd. Since his debut, he has been the dream lover of tens of thousands of young girls. How could any girl have the heart to attack him directly? Thinking this, he pushed open the door and walked in. This time, Zibai went straight in, completely off guard. But suddenly, he felt a gust of wind hit his face. Wait a minute. The third time in a row. This time, Zibai was blasted a full 10 meters away. Yao Shuling was scared out of her wits. Wrong again? There are no other choices left. The announcer's voice. It's correct this time. Zibai couldn't take it anymore and roared. Then why did you still blast me? There was a moment of silence from the speaker. Then the answer came slowly. Who said you wouldn't get blasted if you chose correctly? It's hard to imagine a show that dares to blast its guests with a cannon like this. But Black World did it. That's right. This reality show called Anti-Fan Dominates the World is affectionately called Black World by netizens, although that so-called cannon is actually just a super-powered leaf blower. But director Liu really didn't lie to the netizens when he let the 3 most hated celebrities on social media suffer inhuman torture on the show. This made the audience extremely excited. Related hashtags also continuously appeared on the hot search list. Hashtag Black World Pure Torture. Hashtag Most Violent Show in CBiz. Hashtag A Show That Dares to Film has appeared. Hashtag Protect. Hashtag Director Liu is one of us. Comment. I won't say anything if you are enjoying this. The livestream chat is full of paid commenters. It's unbearable. As expected, whenever it gets to him, it's all curses. Scumbags deserve to be blasted to bits by the cannon. Is it my 2 resource magnets' turn next? Hurry up. Hurry up. I can't wait anymore. After Zibai was carried into room number 2 on a stretcher, the scene fell into a stalemate. Yao Shuling really hoped that I could be like Zibai and help her eliminate the wrong answers, but she couldn't say it out loud. After all, she came here to redeem her image. She had to show her tolerant and generous side. Let me take the initiative to choose first. I don't want to either. At times like these, someone needs to step up and break the silence. And I stepped up. Yao Shuling, you choose first. After Yao Shuling reacted, she managed to swallow her harsh words. Why? Because I don't want to get blasted, I said with utmost sincerity. Yao Shuling was speechless. Does she actually want to? Announcer, 1 final minute to consider. If you haven't made a choice when time is up, you 2 will be sent back to the previous challenge. What? The water buckets? I don't want to. Yao Shuling was so traumatized by those water buckets. She couldn't care about anything else. She rushed forward and shoved a door open. Boom. Tragic screams continuously echoed from outside, in complete contrast to the terrifying silence inside the room. In the dimly lit room number 1, a slender woman was lazily leaning on a high-end leather sofa, fiddling with a remote control in her palm. The shadows obscured half of her face, so her appearance couldn't be seen clearly, but her full, red lips could still be faintly seen, curving into a malicious smile, as if enjoying the tragic scene outside. Tap, 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 tap. Suddenly, a strange sound came from behind. The woman's movement paused slightly. Her eyes glanced over absent-mindedly, and accidentally met a pair of eyes as big as bronze bells from outside the window. No matter how mentally strong she was, it was hard not to be startled by this sight. The person outside the window was holding a small hammer, with a few screwdrivers in his mouth, diligently prying open the window lock. Seeing her look over, he even greeted her enthusiastically. Hey, your head. The woman coldly withdrew her gaze and pressed the remote control. The electronic curtains closed automatically, cutting off the view from outside. Finally, some peace and quiet. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. That's enough. The woman couldn't take it anymore and yanked the curtains open, only to come face to face with a handsome face. The distance was incredibly close. I had just climbed onto the windowsill and made eye contact with the woman who had just pulled the curtain. Their gazes met for an instant. Wait a minute, this person is, in the blink of an eye. The surprise in the woman's eyes was replaced by amusement. The corners of her lips curled into a cunning smile. I was still dazed when a strong force suddenly pulled at my lower back. My whole body was spun 180 degrees. With my back facing the ground, we both fell hard onto the floor. Everything happened so unexpectedly that even the comments on the screen couldn't keep up. By the time the audience came to their senses, the chat room immediately exploded. Damn, who was that? If I am not mistaken, Isn't this the person in power of the legendary Chu family, Chu Youyu? In the last 2 years, she single-handedly defeated all the relatives who were eyeing the family fortune and installed her mother as the head of the Chu family, supporting her mother every step of the way to gain a firm foothold in the Chu corporation, the true power holder of the Chu family, Chu Youyu. Why is she here? Is she a sponsor of the show? Did Chen Fan wander into the sponsor's room? But she's clearly in room number 1. Gu Zibai and Yao Shuling both found their correct rooms. Then the person in this room can only be Chen Fan's anti-fan. Oh my god, so Chen Fan's anti-fan is Chu Youyu? Hashtag Chu Youyu's surprise appearance on Black World. Hashtag Chen Fan's anti-fan is Chu Youyu. Hashtag Chen Fan has one foot in the grave. The netizens' speed of information processing is extremely fast, and their mouths are also extremely venomous. After a moment of surprise at Chu Yu's appearance, they immediately reached a conclusion about my future. I am done for. You should know that even in the business world, offending Chu Youyu in even the slightest detail will make her hold a grudge to the bone. Not to mention Chu Youyu is my anti-fan, and a hardcore one at that. I advise Chen Fan to just choose the option of getting his career frozen to escape this sea of suffering. That's not good. If he quits now, what's left for me to watch? I am watching this show precisely to see him get tortured. To have offended Chu Youyu and still survived in showbiz for this long, Chen Fan's backing is no joke. As expected, he has the Liu family protecting him. This show is getting more and more dramatic. My shock was no less than the netizens, but when the woman slowly stood up from the ground and elegantly adjusted her slightly wrinkled sleeves, I was able to see her face clearly by the candlelight in the room, and finally confirmed that I hadn't seen the wrong person. Chu Youyu. Amazing. Not even bothering to act anymore. To think my anti-fan is actually Chu Youyu, the very person who, at the Liu family's dinner party, sent them flying with one kick. Several elders of the Liu family. That Chu Youyu. This person is like a rabid dog. Whoever offends her will be relentlessly chased down and torn apart. And now I've suddenly become the one who offended her. My natural reflex was to back down and apologize. But then I suddenly remembered, that's not right. I am not even afraid of the Liu family now. Why would I be afraid of Chu Youyu? Besides, didn't I come on this show to get cancelled? And my opponent is the difficult Chu Youyu. This is truly a dream come true. You dare use me as a cushion? My expression changed quickly, becoming fierce in just a second. I pushed myself up with both hands. Whack. I threw a leg sweep straight at Chu Youyu. Chu Youyu, who was being elegant and arrogant just a moment ago. The amused smile on her lips hadn't even faded when her entire body was kicked away, leaving only an afterimage. Meanwhile, in another development, guest Gu Zibei's room number 2 was no different from hell on earth. From the moment he stepped through the door, a woman rushed at him, punching and kicking relentlessly. First, she threw a cup of coffee straight in his face. Then she grabbed a pillow and repeatedly hit him over the head with it, kicked him hard in the kneecap, pinched him hard in the armpit, and even when he opened his mouth to say something, she took out her shoe insole and stuffed it in his mouth. Gu Zibai was beaten until he was dizzy. He was so frustrated he wanted to curse immediately. Isn't this supposed to be a one-on-one session? Let's interact then. You have to at least give me a chance to talk. Room number 1 was indeed having an interaction, but it was a violent kind of interaction. Ever since I leg swept Chu Youyu, things started to get completely out of control. Are you trying to die? As expected, her rage exploded. As Chu Yuyu's dark face rose from the ground, she was met with a slap coming down from above. So the person named Get Lost, Grandma Li, is you? Huh? Completely different from just now. This slap was filled with all my hatred. Just die already. Just a second ago, I saw on Chu Yuyu's table a name card with the id, Get Lost, Grandma Li. I am all too familiar with this Weibo ID. It's the huge anti-fan who has been slandering me for 5 years. It wasn't enough for Get Lost, Grandma Li, to be an anti-fan by herself. She even created 10 anti-fan groups with thousands of members. She has tens of thousands of anti-fans under her command. They would show up on my Weibo every day on schedule just to curse me out. Just like a pyramid scheme leader. It was because of her that I once lost quite a few valuable job opportunities. That was all my hard-earned money. It's no exaggeration to say, if it weren't for this anti-fan Get Lost, Grandma Li, I could have shaved off at least 2 years of struggle. Whenever I think about this, my anger flares up. I no longer cared if the person in front of me was Chu Yu or someone else. I charged in and unleashed a whole series of combo moves, choking, arm locks, straight punches, and knee strikes. Chu Yuyu's dodging skills were also top tier, leaning, tumbling, bending back to neutralize the force and then counterattacking. Just like that, the two of them started beating each other up without saying a word. Have they all gone crazy? I thought I'd get to see Chen Fan get beaten one-sidedly so I could have a good laugh. How did it end up with them brawling with each other? Who was it that said Chen Fan was a coward? They're about to tear the roof off. I really don't matter anymore, compared to the noisy chaos of the other 2 rooms, which seemed like they had just been bombarded by cannons. Room number 3 was the quietest. So quiet that you could seemingly hear a pin drop on the floor. Yao Shuling was standing stunned at the door, her lips slightly parted, her voice trembling a little. Why is it you? The curtains in the room swayed with the wind. The man, half hidden in the shadows, chuckled coldly, very surprised. Hashtag, most powerful anti-fan lineup in history. Hashtag, anti-fan dominates the world. If the show's popularity before all came from the curiosity of netizens, then after the anti-fan lineup was revealed, this reality show truly exploded in the literal sense. Not to mention the head of the Chu family, the powerful and intimidating Chu Youyu. There's also the genius heir from a musical family, Ji Yueching, and the business prodigy Bai Zhizhou, who only took 3 years to get his company into the Fortune Global 500. All of them are illustrious figures, and yet, such an elite group of people are the hardcore anti-fans of those 3 celebrities. This world has finally gone mad. I always thought high-class people like them wouldn't have the free time to follow drama online like us, who knew they not only follow drama, but also became professional anti-fans. I will never doubt that this show is scripted again, because no one has enough power to make these 3 act. At this point, I can only say one thing. Director Liu is freaking awesome. After the one-on-one sessions ended, the 6 guests of the show finally had their first group meeting. In the lounge, the mysterious director, Liu, finally appeared. He stood behind the camera, his eyes squinted with an unreadable smile. Welcome, all 6 of you, to the show. Our star project, Anti-Fan Dominates the World. We set up 2 small icebreakers earlier. The main purpose was for you all to get to know each other better. Someone immediately spoke up to question it. Yao Shuling. Small icebreakers? Gu Zibai. I was about to die. Do you know that? Ignoring the resentful glares of the 3 celebrities, Director Liu maintained his squinty-eyed smile. I am sure the 3 celebrities have gotten acquainted with their anti-fans. Then, allow me to give a brief introduction. Chen Fan's anti-fan is Chu Youyu. Weibo-eyed. Get lost. Grandma Li. Anti-fan 4. 5 years. Gu Zibai's anti-fan is Ji Yuching. Weibo D. Gu Zibai. Rejected after 1 night as a bottom. Anti-fan 4. 2 years. Yao Shuling's anti-fan is Bai Zhishu. Weibo-eyed. Ambitious old Wei Zhang. Anti-fan 4. 3 years. Comment. It's hard to imagine these IDs were thought up in a stable state of mind. I finally understand why Ji Yueching's keyword was contrasting beauty. How could a great beauty come up with such an abstract username? Bai Zhizhao's ID was also an eye-opener. Looking at them all, Chu Youyu's is still the simplest and most violent. Well then, after the official introductions are over, guests, please head to our first. Director Li's gaze fell upon the group, whose faces were swollen and bruised. The words he was about to say suddenly changed course. Well, let's just go to the hospital for a checkup first. An entertainment show that sends all its guests to the hospital right after the opening shoot is definitely unprecedented. While the guests were at the hospital getting their injuries checked, the film crew also got a short break. My injuries weren't too serious. Aside from being blasted into the air twice and being used as a human cushion, there was nothing else. Luckily, there was a mat there. I was wandering around when I suddenly heard a heated argument coming from a room ahead. Peeking through the crack in the door, I saw the people inside were Gu Zibai, Yao Shuling, and Director Liu. That's not what we agreed upon. Gu Zibai slammed the table angrily. Didn't you say you had bribed my anti-fan and replaced them with an actor? Director Liu calmly took a sip of coffee. I did bribe them, but what was the result? The result is already obvious. The bribe was unsuccessful. Gu Zibai was speechless. What about me? Didn't you guarantee me that if I participated in this show, my career would absolutely not be frozen? Yao Shuling continued to slam the table. Director Liu looked puzzled. Mr. Bai Zhizhou did indeed promise that we wouldn't let your career be frozen. What else are you worried about? Yao Shuling started to speak, then stopped. It seemed like there was something she couldn't say. What if he's lying to you all? A gentleman's word is his bond. We believe in Mr. Bai's character. No, you don't understand him at all. In that case, did Miss Yao and Mr. Bai know each other before? I stood at the door and heard everything. I was completely shocked. It turns out this show that claims to be completely unscripted actually has secret scripts for everyone but me. Having accidentally witnessed the production team's scheme, I thoughtfully helped them shut the door tightly, doing shady things without even closing the door properly. What if someone overheard? I felt both indulgent and helpless, clutching my forehead with a bitter smile. Without me, who would treat you all like children? I was about to leave this place of gossip and trouble quickly. Just as I turned around, I met a pair of eyes as dark as an abyss. I don't know how long Chu Youyu had been standing there watching me. The red at the corners of her eyes deepened. Her gaze darkened. It seemed to be swirling with endless resentment. I frowned slightly. To this day, I still don't understand why Chu Youyu became my anti-fan. What on earth did I do to offend her, making her hate me for 5 whole years? The Liu family and the Chu family for decades have always had business relationships, but Chu Youyu and I merely had a relationship of having met a few times in public places. Instead of sitting around guessing, it's better to take the initiative. Just as I was about to ask her directly, I saw Chu Youyu striding towards me. Those eyes were still as deep as a calm lake in a dark room, but a cunning smile slowly formed on her lips. Chen Fan, you've finally fallen into my hands. She laughed arrogantly, as if she had just caught a satisfying prey. I won't let you go this time. Absolutely never. Since I was young, I've known how to deal with those who hate me. Flattering, currying favor, admitting fault, acting weak in front of superiors to survive has always been my usual tactic. But now, I don't want to do that anymore, and I don't need to. Do you know what the opposite of Doraemon is? Chu Youyu sneered coldly, not paying much attention. What? It stopped talking nonsense. I lifted my leg high. Quick as lightning, I landed a powerful kick on Chu Yuyu's leg. In the instant her pupils contracted in pain, I responded with an equally wicked smile. If you hate me that much, then do your best to get my career cancelled. Dolar RMB dream. Isn't it just speaking in broken sentences? Anyone can do that. The live stream started again. The 6 guests took a dedicated vehicle to the accommodation arranged by the show. This was an incredibly relaxed and pleasant lakeside town. Yuehu town is located next to a vast lake. Whenever night falls, the moonlight reflects on the lake's surface, serene and gentle. That's how this place got its name. The guests' accommodation this time was a standalone house on the other side of town, the lakeside courtyard. I was assigned a lake-facing room on the 2nd floor of the Western-style building. Just by opening the balcony door, you could see the azure lake. Let me tell you, this is way better than the Liu family's basement. This is so comfortable. Just as I was about to stretch leisurely, I felt my danger radar go off again. I narrowed my eyes and suddenly dropped to the ground. The moment I dropped, a basin of water flew past my eyes. If I had been standing then, this water would have soaked me completely. An extremely annoying voice came from the next room. Chu Youyu was leaning halfway over the adjacent balcony railing, looking at me with a smirk. That was fast. She was still holding a water basin in her hands. As expected from the queen of haters, she's already making her move. Turns out Chu Youyu has such a malicious personality. Chen Fan deserves it. How annoying must he be for Chu Youyu to hate him for 5 years? Am I the only one who noticed that Chen Fan is very agile? How did he dodge that so well? The bullet screen was filled with all sorts of comments, but most were gloating over someone else's misfortune. They were all waiting to see me humiliated, but instead, they saw me calmly stand up, dust myself off, and walk up to Chu Youyu. Under Chu Yuyu's scrutinizing gaze, I suddenly gave a powerful headbutt. To hell with her. Chu Yuyu's chin was hit, making a crack sound like a breaking bone. Oh my god. He's a murderer. Chu Youyu, with a stunned expression, slowly fell backward. Finally, she collapsed to the ground with a thud, unconscious. I rubbed my perfectly fine head and gave an innocent smile. Hee. My ass. She's about to meet her ancestors. Am I crazy? Or is Chen Fan crazy? Where's the ambulance? Warning. The Liu family urgently posts an announcement. Warning. Liu Group. For certain reasons, Mr. Chen has severed all ties with the Liu family. Currently, Mr. Chen and the Liu family have no connection whatsoever. We hope everyone will be discerning and not involve innocent people. The announcement immediately caused an explosion on social media. Gossip-loving netizens flocked in from all over. Haha, say no more. Going to feed the chickens. I am dying from holding back my laughter. The Liu family is that scared of being implicated. Done feeding the chickens, now off to feed the pigs. Offending the Chu family never ends well. Chen Fan acts so recklessly on the show. I thought the Liu family would still protect him like before. Unexpectedly, the Liu family directly sacrificed the pawn to save the king. They kicked him out. He's really hit a wall this time. The Liu family's move was a wise one. So Chen Fan was just abandoned by the Liu family like that? Wasn't he really pampered by the Liu family? Even pampering has its limits. The small things from before could be overlooked, but this time, he offended the Chu family. How could the Liu family possibly bear that? He's gone too far. The people on the show were completely unaware of the storm online. The lakeside courtyard began its next round of filming. After the rooms were assigned and the luggage was settled, the 6 guests were gathered in the courtyard. Welcome everyone to the lakeside courtyard. Director Liu stood behind the camera, still squinting his mysteriously narrow eyes. The purpose of this show is to give stars and anti-fans a chance for close contact to understand each other better. Well, see if, in the end, prejudice is broken or hatred deepens. Therefore, in the room arrangements, the production team has also put in a lot of thought. I am sure you've all noticed. Each star and anti-fan pair are placed next to each other. I hope that in the next 2 months, you can all live together, peacefully. Just look at the level of fighting right from the start. There's no way it'll be peaceful. At first, I was worried the anti-fans were all ordinary people, that maybe they'd be bought off by the stars, but now it seems these anti-fans have even more powerful backgrounds than the stars. There's no chance of them being bought off. Prejudice? Interesting. Is it implying the stars will have their images cleaned up by the end of the show? I don't think so. Just look at the 3 anti-fans' behavior earlier. They're all genuine gods of hatred. A stormy battlefield is about to begin. Next up is the filming for the first task at the lakeside courtyard. Director Liu continued. The 3 pairs of stars and anti-fans will automatically form a group. Come here, one by one to draw lots, and complete the task written on it. Only the group that completes the task will get to enjoy the dinner prepared by the show. Otherwise, you'll have to fend for yourselves. A gentle reminder. The show has not prepared any ingredients for the self-reliant group. You can't order takeout here either. Fending for yourselves here means absolute wilderness survival. I looked at the piece of paper in my hand and fell into deep thought. The 3 papers in the lottery box corresponded to 3 farm chores. Gu Si, Bai, and Gu Yue Qing's group drew bamboo weaving. Yao Shu Ling, Bai Zhizhou drew duck herding. I thought my task would also be as light as the other 2 groups, but when I opened the paper, carrying manure, Chu Youyu's venomous mouth chimed in right on time. Did you get crap on your hands? What rotten luck. I replied instantly without a second thought. Then how about I let you have a few bites? Truly masters of verbal combat. Every move is a fatal blow. It was rare to see Chu Youyu not retort, her brows furrowed tightly, her expression grave. She was convinced I would actually do it. All right. The tasks for the groups have been assigned. Director Lai's voice rang out. The bamboo weaving group needs to weave 5 bamboo baskets. The duck herding group needs to herd the ducks to the riverbank so they can eat their fill. As for the fertilizing group, you must fertilize an entire field of chives. The deadline to complete the task is before sunset. I hope you can coexist peacefully while performing your tasks. Director Liu seems to really like emphasizing peace, but it feels like he's trying to do the impossible, making a bunch of people who are used to living in luxury do farm work. The director really knows how to create drama. Never mind the other 2 groups, but in this manure-carrying group, I carried the shoulder pole to the manure pit, not feeling particularly bothered by the smell. After all, I've eaten rotten vegetables and spoiled rice since I was a child. When I was locked in the basement by my family, the smell of dead rats was nothing new to me, so my tolerance for smells is far beyond that of an ordinary person. But turning my head to look, Chu Youyu was holding a shoulder pole with one hand, standing a full 10 meters away, her eyes unable to hide her disgust. Chu Youyu, you're staying that far away. Are you really afraid it'll make you eat manure? Chu Youyu replied. I am afraid you'll crave it so much you'll jump in and splash it all over me. Bullet screen. If these 2 licked their lips when they're thirsty, they'd probably poison themselves to death. So down to earth, I couldn't help but laugh. I never expected to meet such an evenly matched opponent. Interesting. Really, really interesting. Striving to complete the task is not something someone who wants to retire should do. Someone who genuinely wants to fail on the show wouldn't have a smile on their face. Me. I casually threw the shoulder pole on the ground, put my hands on the ground in a runner's stance, and then, under Chu Youyu's "you're an idiot" gaze, I shot off like an arrow. I launched forward like a rocket. Bam. Chu Youyu was like a spinning top hit by a whip, launching spectacularly into the air. Bullet screen. Chu Youyu intentionally caused injury. Outlaw. Cancel the terrible artist Chen Fan immediately. Are you guys above kidding or are you blind? As for me, I was laughing my guts out. Haha. After running 50 meters straight, I slowly stopped. I turned to look at Chu Youyu, who had been knocked to the very edge of the manure pit. According to the principle of proximity, whoever is closer has to carry it. So this job is yours now. The principle of proximity. Chu Youyu rose from the ground like a demon, her teeth grinding with a creaking sound. She gave an equally terrifying smile. Fine. Very good. She stood up and strode towards me. Just when I thought she was about to go crazy and attack me, the alarm bells in my head went off. She suddenly dodged artfully and charged straight towards a staff member. Oh my god. Even the staff member, who usually had excellent composure, couldn't help it. He was scared out of his wits. It was as if a vengeful spirit had come to claim his life. But then he saw Chu Youyu jump onto his bicycle and speed away in a flash. The strong wind whipped across her angular face, the corners of her lips turning up slightly. She slowly turned her head back. Whoever is closer has to carry it, right? So now you? Why are you here? What made Chu Youyu lose her composure was me, who had somehow appeared on an electric scooter, riding parallel to her. I said nothing, just gave her a slight smile. Then I twisted the throttle and accelerated in an instant, immediately leaving Chu Youyu far behind. Chu Youyu got angry. She abandoned the bicycle, turned, and jumped into the cruise camera car. She hopped into the driver's seat and stepped on the gas, shooting off as if trying to leave the planet. I immediately stopped my scooter and took out my phone to start booking a flight abroad. That's enough. I said that's enough. I thought I was watching the wrong channel. Are you two trying to be comedians? I thought I would see an Fan and an artist fight to the death. Who knew it would be 2 weirdos competing to see who has the lower IQ. I give up. Unlike the craziness of the bamboo weaving and manure carrying groups, this side had a strangely peaceful feeling. Gu Sibei gently took the bamboo strips from Go Yu King's hands and smiled at her, a gentle smile. Miss Gi's hands are for playing musical instruments. They are priceless treasures. How can they do rough work like weaving bamboo? Just leave it to me. After speaking, he lowered his eyes, meticulously copying the movements of the nearby villager, clumsily weaving each bamboo strip. Although the result was shapeless, he still wore a simple smile, wiping the sweat from his forehead. It's a bit difficult at the beginning, but he'll try to complete the task within the given time. I can't let Miss Gu go hungry. Seeing him so down to earth, the villagers couldn't help but smile kindly. Giwiyu Qing just watched him calmly, waiting for him to finish this excellent performance. Then she slowly spoke. Rough work? Gu Sibai, you've really gotten used to the good life. You've forgotten where you came from. With that said, she put on her gloves, grabbed the bamboo strips beside her. With nimble and skilled hands, she quickly wove the shape of 2 words. Idiot. Sorry, I don't just know how to play musical instruments. As long as it's a task that requires manual dexterity, I am very skilled at it. Tossing the bamboo strips woven into the word idiot at Gu Sibai, Da Yu Qing turned away to weave the baskets, ignoring him completely. Huh. What does forgotten where you came from mean? Hearing what Gui Yue Qing said, it seems Ju Sibai has some kind of secret. Why do I feel like the reason Gu Yue Qing hates Gu Bai isn't simple at all. It's as if she knows him extremely well. This is worth watching. The corner of Gu Bai's mouth twitched slightly, but he still had to maintain a friendly expression, not showing his annoyance. This Gu Yue Qing. Where on earth did she come from? He thought even if the show couldn't buy her off, he could still rely on his personal charm to win Gu Yu Qing over. He didn't expect her to be this stubborn. Moreover, the things she occasionally said truly made him feel uneasy. Could it be that she knew me before? At the duck herding group, Yao Shuling stood outside the duck pen, smelling the pungent odor of duck droppings that reached the sky. Her brows furrowed slightly, a bit hesitant. If you can't do it, don't stand here blocking the way. A cold voice sounded from behind her. Bai Zhizhou picked up the bamboo pole and stepped into the duck pen, skillfully herding the ducks out. The ducks scurried past Yao Shuling's feet, and she instinctively cried out and stepped back. All she got in return was a sneer, as expected. A pampered young lady like you, how could you endure such dirty work? As Bai Zhizhou herded the ducks past her, he threw her a scornful look, mocking her. If you want to clean up your image on the show, you should at least pretend a little. Wanting results without putting in any effort, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Isn't Bai Zhizhou a businessman? Why does he look so skilled at this stuff? He's originally from the countryside, a country boy who built his business from scratch. His story is very inspirational. Just look it up online and you'll see. He hasn't forgotten his roots even after making money. He's really amazing. Compared to him, Yao Shuling is really too spoiled. If you can't handle hardship, don't join the show. Just as Bai Zhizhou said, wants to clean her image but isn't willing to make any sacrifices. That's hilarious. Just as the netizens predicted, the first collaboration between the star and anti-fan was not harmonious at all. However, Gu Bai and Yao Shuling being relentlessly mocked by their anti-fans was understandable. But me, I am like a firecracker, ready to fire back at my own anti-fan. This was truly baffling to people. User Kwachi, does Chen Fan even know what this show is for? Other people are trying their best to flatter their anti-fans, but him, he insists on doing the opposite. This humble one has something to say. I guess he wants to take a different path. If he just submits to his anti-fan like the others, there would be nothing memorable or outstanding about him. His actions, on the contrary, are more likely to go viral. He's probably trying to get famous by being infamous. You'd see deep affection in a dog's gaze. Makes sense. After all, Chen Fan was only infamous before, not famous at all. Now that he finally has this opportunity, he already has a bad reputation anyway. Might as well use this chance to make himself famous. That's definitely his style. Using any means necessary to become famous. Oh God, give me a break. What's the use of being famous? Isn't his career getting canceled in the end anyway? Probably just the desperate tomcat wanting to enjoy the superstar feeling one last time. Clowns are usually like that. As the sun gradually set, the sky began to darken. The groups on their tasks were called back one by one. Gu Bai and Gu Yue King's group, thanks to Gu Yue King's skillful hands, easily completed the task of weaving 5 bamboo baskets. Meanwhile, Gu Bai, not wanting to be outdone, tried to show off, and painstakingly wove some hideous-looking items, so much so that the crew had to place them in front of the courtyard to ward off evil spirits. Yao Shuling and Bai Zhizhou's group, thanks to the surprisingly excellent duck-herding skills of Bai Zhou, also completed their task. After being mocked, Yao Shuling did try to help, but her chaotic shooing style only made the ducks scatter more, so she got another scolding from Bai Zhizhou. As for Chen Fan and Chu Youyu's pair, there was still no sign of them. It's over. Well, probably have to file a missing persons report. Director Lias' right-hand man, the assistant named Ma Pai Jing, the sycophant, looked as if all his life force had been drained. Those two ran through forests and crossed streams. They're about to cross the border. The crew mobilized 10 vehicles and still couldn't catch up. Now we've completely lost contact with them. Yao Shuling, standing nearby, heard this and thought to herself, are these two idiots? It's a small matter. Nothing to panic about. In contrast to Assistant Ma's desperate look, Director Liu appeared much calmer. Special times call for special measures. Assistant Ma immediately calmed down, clasping his hands respectfully. You are still the wisest, sir. Is this assistant's name really Mei Pai Jing? His parents who gave him this name. They really had the ability to predict the future. Director Liu is really too calm. The guests have gone missing, but he's not flustered at all. If he had such willpower, anything can be accomplished. That so-called extraordinary method is the extremely advanced thermal imaging technology. According to Director Liu, this is something he prepared in case the pigs in the pen escaped into the mountains and got lost, so it's specially used for finding pigs. And so, the pigs were found. Because we accidentally ran into a corner of the mountain with no signal, Chu Youyu and I got lost in 2 different places. I heard that when they found Chu Youyu, she was trying to turn her clothes into a rescue flag, but while she was waving it, the flag was blown away by the wind, so she just kept chasing after that flag. The witness, PDU, said, at that time, I thought Miss Chu was flying a kite. She really has a childish heart, so I couldn't bear to disturb her for a moment, and could only stare as Chu Youyu chased it for a dozen rounds. Chu Youyu, you're really hopeless. As for when they found me, I was about to jump into the lake. They suspected I was driven into a corner and wanted to end my life. Luckily, The staff arrived just in time and saved me, snatching a life back. The enthusiastic citizen, cameraman Tian, saving a life, is better than building a 7-story pagoda. I guess I did a good deed today, thank you. I was trying to catch fish. Then suddenly, some giant guy grabbed me by the neck from behind. I thought catching fish here was punishable by death or something. Comment section. Watching a judgment-style reality show, but laughing like a fool like this. Is it okay? Is this show missing a comedy tag? How can these two airheads hate each other? With these personalities, they should get along really well. I guess one mountain can't hold two pigs. Chen Fan is just putting on a show for attention. What a dancing clown. Anyway, it was a scare, but there was no danger. Everyone returned safely. This is a good thing. After hearing everyone's stories, Director Liu smiled faintly. He gathered everyone to sit in the small courtyard. In the middle of the courtyard was a large iron pot, stewing a fragrant chicken soup. The firewood crackled in the firelight, bringing the pot of chicken soup to a rolling boil. The staff brought bowls and chopsticks, and distributed them to Guzubai, Jiu Xing, Yao Shuling, and Bai Zhizhu. According to the rules, only the two groups that completed the task get to have dinner. Mr. Chen, Miss Chu, you two have worked hard. When this is over, you two can go find your own food. I clasped my hands behind my head and leaned back in my chair casually. Whatever. I am not hungry. Chu Youyu shot me a sideways glance. Keep pretending. Where their eyes met, it was as if sparks flew, filled with the smell of gunpowder. The other four couldn't care less about their grievances and just sat to one side, slurping their food. They had been hungry all day. After all, after a day of living together, how does everyone feel? Director Liu smiled as he looked at them. His gaze was as gentle as if he were looking at his own children. Has everyone's perception of each other changed? Ji Yuxing answered without thinking. There's nothing to change my perception of. Trash is still trash. Gu Zibai remained silent, just lowering his head sadly, then suddenly let out a self-deprecating, bitter smile. He shook his head slightly, closed his eyes, and let out a soft sigh. Ji Yueking directly knocked his bowl of rice away. What the hell are you still pretending for? I am dying of laughter, my brother. I thought girls who study art would be gentle and quiet. Where did that stereotype come from? Don't arrange this kind of task for us next time, Bai Zhizhou said indifferently. In the end, I was the only one doing it anyway, because some rich young lady will never learn how to lower herself in her life. Yao Shuling paused slightly and unconsciously tightened her grip on her chopsticks. Bai Zhizhou, that's enough. Bai Zhizhou, did I say something wrong? The atmosphere between them was just as tense. It's just not the same drawn bows and swords type as me and Chu Youyu. The atmosphere between them was more like a subtlety that outsiders couldn't possibly understand. It seems your relationships haven't improved much. Director Liu smiled. His gaze finally landed on me and Chu Youyu. What about you two? Miss Chu, when did you start hating Chen Fan? Mingling with the crackling of the firewood, Director Liu's voice sounded calm and gentle. The firelight reflected on half of Chu Youngyu's face, but it couldn't melt those deep black eyes that were like a frozen lake. Does hating someone need a reason? She smirked slightly, but the smile didn't reach her eyes, because just looking at him is enough to hate him. It would be best if he disappeared from this world. Even breathing the same air as him is disgusting. Is that answer sufficient? I glanced at her. So Chu Youyu hates me to this extent. What about you, Mr. Chen? Director Liu turned the topic to me. Why, when you know well that Miss Chu hates you, do you not try to make her see you differently? Instead, you constantly confront her, as if you want her to hate you even more. Have I never thought about easing the relationship between us? In response to that, I just leaned back leisurely into my chair and said lightly, what is there to ease? Whoever hates me can go die, and those I hate shouldn't even dream of living. It seems someone around couldn't hold back, after hearing me say that, choked on their food, and coughed violently. Chu Youyu sneered, her words dripping with sarcasm. Well, you sure have an attitude. Stop talking. Just stop. Are you hopeless? Because I think that sentence actually makes sense. Why didn't anyone say Chen Fan had this kind of personality sooner? He's totally my type. Did Chen Fan change management companies recently? This new image is way more attractive to fans than before. Let's see how long he can keep up the act. Dinner ended. Before the three anti-fans returned to their rooms to rest, they were invited one by one into a private interview room by the crew. After spending a day together, how many points will I give my artist today? 11 numbers appeared on the tablet screen, from 0 to 10. Ji Yuqing and Bai Zhizhou didn't hesitate to press the number 0. Chu Youyu leisurely asked, is there a negative score option here? It's clear that the day of living together just now not only failed to ease the relationship between the artists and anti-fans, but instead made the smell of gunpowder even stronger. All right, the first question is over. Next is the second question, also the key question that decides if the artist stays or goes. The show had previously announced the rules clearly. Throughout the filming, the director will pose 8 times the question, do you want your artist to be cancelled? If the number of times the anti-fan answers yes reaches 5 or more, then the corresponding artist will be blacklisted for 3 years. Now, the first round of questioning begins. Do you want the artist you hate to be blacklisted? Ji Yuqing looked straight into the camera with a determined gaze. Bai Zhizhou also showed no hesitation. Yes. Chu Youyu leaned back in her chair, without a trace of pity in her eyes. No matter how many times this question is asked, my answer will always be yes. The first day of filming for Anti-Fan World ended in such an unsatisfactory way. However, the netizens were extremely excited. All three of those detestable artists received their first yes vote. Just 4 more times like this, and they will have to leave the entertainment industry forever. Fried chicken hottie. Someone you already hate. No matter how long you're with them, you'll still hate them. The answer to this problem won't change over time, unless it's scripted. Little Tang Hulu, you can tell. Some people are deliberately creating an image to whitewash themselves, but character is something you can't fake. A mask worn for too long will eventually crack. Looking forward to seeing them get cancelled and showing their true colors in later episodes. Magic Old Lamp, Anti-Fan World. You have successfully piqued my curiosity. I will definitely binge watch this show. The program crew packed up the cameras. The small villa by the lake sank into the silence of the night. Those who were full had all returned to their rooms to rest, while the starving ones could only lean on the balcony and gaze into the distance. I stared intently at the distant lake surface, contemplating whether going down to the lake to catch fish now was feasible. In previous years at the Liu family's house, I was often starved, which caused my stomach to develop problems. If I don't eat at the right time, I feel weak immediately, literally weak. So this show really doesn't give you food. Suddenly, a rich, fragrant aroma hit my nose. I thought I was hallucinating from hunger, but when I followed the scent to the dining room, I saw a sumptuous feast laid out before my eyes. Sometime, there had appeared in the house several men in black suits, who were bringing dishes to the table one by one. Chu Youyu sat at the head of the table, leisurely, swirling the teacup in her hand. Oh, how did a stray wander in here? Didn't they say we couldn't order outside food here? Who said this was ordered from outside? After waving for the men to leave, Chu Youyu sneered mockingly. This is my assistant, who specially drove from the city to bring me food. Do you have a problem with that? She stood up and walked towards me, bent down slightly, and looked straight into my eyes with an oppressive air. Her eyes were filled with challenge. Beg me. Maybe I'll let you eat too. I returned to my room with a heavy heart until I heard a crashing sound from the dining room downstairs. It sounded like someone fell, and bowls, plates, pots, and pans scattered across the floor. Only then did I break into a satisfied smile. That's right. When I left, I conveniently flipped the circuit breaker in the dining room, and even managed to snag a steamed bun. Those who like to show off will eventually get a taste of their own medicine. It's a truth that's never wrong. I nibbled on the steamed bun while sitting by the window, thinking about the next plan of action for the show. How can I eat my fill at every meal, while also continuing to provoke Chu Youyu, at least in tasks related to food like this? I can't continue to be lazy. While I was lost in thought, there was a sudden knock on the door. Who is it? I opened the door. The hallway was completely empty. On a food tray placed on the floor was a bowl of steaming hot noodles. I was stunned, instinctively looking up towards the stairs. I only saw the hem of a white shirt disappear around the corner. It seemed the person had hurriedly left right after putting the tray down. The person wearing white today seems to be Director Liu. Day 2 at the lakeside villa. Gu Zibai, who had just returned from his morning exercise, trying to build a self-disciplined image, was standing in the living room. He looked at the giant electronic screen on the wall with a very serious expression. On the screen were his portrait, Yao Shuling's, and my picture. Next to each person's picture was a red X. Gu Zibai had a bad feeling. Based on the anti-fan guests' answers last night, if they want you to be cancelled, then a red X will appear next to your picture. Director Liu, who had appeared out of nowhere, was standing behind Gu Zibai, smiling brightly like a ghost. What a shame. In this first week's round of questioning, everyone received a red X. In the future, a similar question will be repeated once a week. You all still have 7 more chances. Please keep trying, Mr. DU. Work hard to change the anti-fan's mind. Don't you get blacklisted with 5 red XS. In reality, there are only 4 chances left, I said while munching on a piece of bread as I passed through the living room. Yao Shuling glanced at me. Why do you seem so calm? It's not like panicking is going to solve anything. I poured myself a cup of tea and took a leisurely sip. Let's just go with the flow. What's meant to be will be. Yao Shuling clicked her tongue softly. Seeing Bai Zizhou standing not far away, her mood worsened. That's right. What's meant to be will be. Good morning, everyone. Everyone looks so full of spirit today. Looking at the 6 guests who had changed into outdoor attire, Director Liu smiled in satisfaction. Today's schedule is very simple. Tour Yue, Hu Town, and shop for equipment for tonight's mountain camping trip. Since it's our first time here, of course, we have to get to know it well. The place where we'll be living for the next 2 months. From the rustic town to the vibrant nature, none of it can be missed. Everyone, please pack your things, and let's set off together. Director Liu turned cheerfully and walked out of the courtyard. That tone of voice was really like a kindergarten teacher taking children on a field trip, but the group he was leading was anything but simple. It was full of people scheming and fighting against each other to get from the lakeside villa area to Yueho town on the opposite side. The fastest way is to take a boat across the lake. Gu Zibai was the first to step onto the bobbing boat. After trying to hold the side of the boat steady, he turned and offered his hand to Ji Yuqing. He smiled gently. The morning light shone on his face, making him look warm and gentle. Yuqing, give me your hand. Yuqing, calling her so intimately is a bit too sudden. He must be anxious after seeing the red X this morning. Too bad that inappropriate intimacy only makes the other person more repulsed. Just as the netizens predicted. Bam! Jiu Xing kicked the side of the boat hard. Jiu Zibai, who was trying to keep the boat balanced, immediately lost his footing as the boat rocked and fell into the water with a splash. How troublesome. He really likes to act all high and mighty. Jiu Xing didn't even bother to glance at him and just walked straight onto the boat. I silently gave her a thumbs up in admiration. This big sister is so cool. Suddenly, the danger radar in my head went off. I quickly ducked, avoiding a hidden weapon flying towards me. It was Gu Zibei's shoe that had just flown off. I turned my head to look. The culprit was Chu Youyu, who shrugged with a hint of regret and said sarcastically, "TSK, TSK, you dare to tisk tisk." I bent down and picked up the shoe, then rushed forward, unleashing a series of combo kicks with the shoe, vowing to teach Chu Youyu a lesson on how to be a person. Chu Youyu wasn't one to be trifled with either. She conveniently snatched the other shoe from Gu Zibai's foot, who had just rushed over to ask for his shoe back. And so, the two of them, each holding a shoe, rushed at each other and started fighting wildly, each of them holding one shoe. They fought back and forth fiercely. Gu Zibai stood barefoot on the side, panically shouting, "My shoes! My shoes! What a bunch of weirdos." After a few small scandals, the whole group finally managed to get on the boat successfully, to go to Yuehu town on the opposite side. This place was indeed just as Director Liu said. The customs were very rustic. The townspeople went about their lives leisurely. The morning sun draped a thin, golden veil over the town, looking warm and relaxed. "Why aren't there any young people here?" Yao Shuling blurted out. Before Director Liu could answer, Bai Zhizu casually chimed in. "The young people have all gone out to work and earn money. For towns with a slow pace of life like this situation is quite common. You wouldn't understand." Although it was an explanation, his words were still filled with the smell of gunpowder. Director Liu glanced at them and said with a smile, "It is indeed as Mr. Bai said. Most of the young people in Yuehu town work far from home. The main residents of the town are the elderly and children. We still have plenty of time today. Everyone can go explore and have fun in the town on their own. Of course, don't forget the most important task, which is to buy camping equipment." Although it was said we could move freely, the star and anti-fan pairs from the same group still had to go together. Therefore, Chu Youyu and I went to the market together. But today, I was on official business. Based on the habits of this show's crew, there will definitely be no food on the mountain tonight. If I don't prepare in advance, I am guaranteed to go hungry. Director Lius, kindness isn't likely to appear a second time, so it's best to protect my own stomach. Give me half a caddy of almonds, and half a caddy of raisins too. These things help you recover stamina quickly when hiking. This is all good stuff. I took money from the budget pouch Director Liu had given, but suddenly noticed an unfriendly gaze. As soon as I looked up, I saw Chu Youyu with her arms crossed, looking at me with a nonchalant air. "Oh, so you even prepared a cheat sheet?" Not bothering with whatever she was muttering, I immediately gave her a friendly middle finger, then heard Chu Young's leisurely sarcasm. A spoiled adopted son of a rich family since childhood. How would he know about this kind of life knowledge? Isn't it because you've looked at a cheat sheet beforehand? You really know how to build an image. I suddenly realized something. So this is the point you're targeting me with. I smiled gently at that and spoke politely. "The way you talk sounds exactly like a strategist from the Three Kingdoms period. What was his name? Zhu something. Zhuge Liang, maybe?" Comment. I have to admit, Chen Fan's attack power is real. But Chu Youyu isn't wrong either. Chen Fan looks really knowledgeable. He even knows how to bargain when buying vegetables. He doesn't look like someone going to the market for the first time at all. Didn't I just say? It's because he looked at a cheat sheet beforehand. But this level of proficiency doesn't seem like something you can do just by looking at a cheat sheet. Besides, how would Chen Fan know what today's filming content was? Director Liu would definitely never leak the script to him. That actually makes sense. Summer often has sudden rains. The sky, which was sunny just a moment ago, suddenly darkened. Immediately after, a downpour began, causing pedestrians on the street to scatter in search of shelter. I hugged the pile of necessities I had just bought and rushed under an eave to take shelter from the rain. While I was busy brushing the water off the bags, I heard Chu Young's unhurried voice. "Chen Fan, aren't you really curious why I hate you so much?" The threads of rain fell slanted, a few drops splashing inside, soaking one of my shoulders. My action of brushing the bags suddenly stopped, and I looked up, straight into Chu Young's eyes. "That's not important. Not important at all." Chu Youyu looked as if she had just heard a joke. She crossed her arms and leaned lazily against the wall, looking at me with a meaningful expression. "If you don't make me change my mind, you will definitely be blacklisted." "Even so, it's not important." "Chen Fan, do you really want to be cancelled?" My heart skipped a beat. Wait a minute. Because of Chu Young's behavior over the past 2 days, she seemed too much like an idiot. I almost forgot about that myself. She is an extremely dangerous and sharp person. If she finds out the truth, that my real goal is to get my activities frozen, she definitely won't let me have my way. My brain started working at full capacity, thinking at a rate of 800 new atoms per second. I quickly finalized a countermeasure. If I don't want to be frozen, then I have to endure your eccentric temper. Why should I bring this trouble upon myself? Isn't it just for 3 years? In 3 years, I'll be a new man. Maybe it's because of my gaze, which was so nonchalant. The corner of Chu Youyu's mouth twitched slightly. A flicker of hesitation appeared in the depths of her eyes. I don't know if she was convinced by my resilience or not. In the end, she just left a single, helpless-sounding sentence. Chen Fan, just you wait. I told you. Chen Fan isn't fazed at all. It turns out from the very beginning. He didn't intend to make a safe retreat from this show, so Chen Fan is serious. Why did he even participate? Even if he's being smeared to this extent, he can still rely on the Liu family to keep getting jobs. There's always a place for him in the entertainment industry. So what's this all about? I am sticking to my old opinion. He's just here to ride on the coattails of fame. This show is extremely hot right now. It's more famous than any announcement he has ever participated in before. He wants to trade 3 years for immense fame. After all, he has the Liu family backing him. In 3 years, he can still make a comeback as usual. But didn't the Liu family already abandon him? After shopping, we returned to the meeting point. I overheard some interesting stories from the other two groups. For example, Go Sibei, after a sudden heavy rain, saw an old lady on the roadside who couldn't pack up her stall in time. She was standing there, enduring the downpour. He was so moved that he took off his jacket and rushed over to shield the old lady. No matter what, he insisted that the old lady had to lean against his broad chest. In the end, Gui Yue Qing grabbed an umbrella handle and hit Gu Sibei, sending him flying. Then she went forward to shield the old lady with the umbrella, and at the same time, gifted Gu Sibei with a classic quote. I hate posers the most. Comment watching this group is about to give me schizophrenia. Every time I see Gu Sibei's gentle demeanor, I think he's a very good person. But as soon as Gu Yue Qing opens her mouth, I feel like he's just putting on an act. I feel like Gu Yu Qing was sent to expose him. Whenever Ju Yu Qing is next to him, everything he does looks fake to me. That's hilarious. Now this is a genuine anti-fan. Or like Yao Shu Ling, who, to please Bai Zhizhou, shed yesterday's cold demeanor and showed him the utmost care and concern. For some reason, this made Bai Zhizhou angry. He glared at her and left her on the spot. She got lost and took forever to find her way back. Bai Zhizhou, I can't even care about you? What on earth do you want me to do? Yao Shuling, tired and angry from being lost, returned to see Bai Zhizhou standing there, as if nothing had happened. The anger inside her immediately erupted, but Bai Zhizhou remained indifferent. I just hate hypocrites. Comment the high and mighty one who relies on power and influence finally gets a taste of the cold shoulder. So satisfying to watch, but I feel sorry for Yao Shuling. Leaving her all alone like that is a bit too much. Isn't it? She's doing that on purpose to make you feel sorry for her. If you believe it, you've already lost. After returning to the small courtyard, everyone went to their rooms to rest. We weren't called out until dusk. I've just observed the heavens. Tonight is a beautiful day to go camping in the mountains. Director Liu said, looking up at the night sky. I also glanced at the night sky. The rain just stopped. The sky was pitch black. Not a single star could be seen. What kind of astronomy are you watching? Everyone has changed into their climbing gear. Now, let's set off with me. The kindergarten guide is online again. Director Liu walked and hummed a tune, leading the way. He looked so carefree and at ease. Looking at his back, I couldn't help but wonder, what kind of person is he, really? Why design a judgment show? That's so unsympathetic towards artists. But during the show, he treats everyone with great kindness and consideration. What is his real purpose? The mountain path is dangerous, and it's dark. Everyone, please be careful. Let me go ahead and lead the way. Gu Sibai had an extremely reliable expression on his face. He proactively moved to the front of the line. However, as he passed by me, he pretended to accidentally stick his foot out to trip me. My danger detection radar has never been wrong. The moment Gu Sibei's leg shot out, I jumped up and successfully dodged that trip, but I never expected that. This idiot Ju Sibai is really something else. Seeing his action fail, he immediately activated Plan B. He let out a scream and threw himself straight at me. In the eyes of outsiders, it was entirely because the path was slippery. Gu Sibai lost his footing and bumped into me. But from my perspective, damn it, suddenly having a whole slab of pork fall on me like this. The accident happened so suddenly. Gu Sibai slammed into me. As I fell backward, I accidentally bumped into Gu Yu Qing. When Gu Yue Qing cried out in surprise and was about to fall, Gu Sibei rushed over as fast as lightning and held her tightly in his arms, using his body to shield her as he slammed into a tree trunk. After the situation stabilized, he pretended to be extremely worried. Looking down at the person in his arms, he asked gently with concern, Yue Qing, are you all right? Gu Sibai, you piece of... A curse that hadn't even finished, gradually faded and disappeared from everyone's hearing. That was because I was sent flying down the mountainside by Gu Sibei's push. So who's the one in trouble here? Look at the current situation. Who's the victim here? He's about to knock me all the way to the horizon. Mr. Chen, Director Lia's outstretched hand didn't even have time to grab me before I whooshed and disappeared into the pitch-black night, bending down and kneeling, with both hands over my head, maintaining a defensive posture. I held my head and tumbled down the slope. Finally, my back slammed hard into a tree trunk, halfway down the mountain, bringing me to a stop. In the pitch-black night, everything was silent. Only my heavy panting remained. Luckily, I am experienced. The accident was too sudden. Luckily, my reflexes are sharp. I managed to protect myself in time. Plus, My physique is incredibly tough. I still had some strength left to get up. Unfortunately, my phone was smashed to pieces while I was tumbling down the mountain. I tapped the phone's body. After realizing it was beyond saving, I had to accept my fate and use the tree to pull myself up. Just as I was thinking about how to get back to the path, whoosh, a rock suddenly grazed past my face. I managed to duck in time to dodge the attack. Whoosh, another one flew towards me. I hugged the tree trunk with both hands and quickly climbed up, dodging it again. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Rocks rained down relentlessly. My danger detection radar was blaring nonstop. My body swayed. I dodged so fast I left afterimages. I screamed inwardly, am I really going to die today? Thwack. I still couldn't avoid the last rock. I was knocked to the ground. As my consciousness faded, I could only hear Chu You's idiotic statement echoing from the mountain above. Using rocks to gauge the depth of the slope is something I learned from survival shows. Everyone, rest assured, follow me. I will definitely lead everyone to find Chen Fan. I slowly closed my eyes. Why are there so many idiots in this world? Chen Fan. A hurried call echoed through the mountains, immediately followed by the sound of rushing footsteps. Over here, in the final moment, it seemed like someone bent down in front of me. The hem of their clothes was blown by the wind, revealing a red mole on their waist. I abruptly shot up in bed. My sharp eyes narrowed. I warily scanned the room. Then my gaze landed on the mirror opposite the bed. I saw my head was wrapped in white bandages like a hornet's nest. Only then did I let out a sigh of relief. So I was saved. I thought I was a goner. Mr. Chen, you're awake. The show's crew. Nurse Chin from the medical team came in carrying a basin of water. How are you feeling? The nurse sat down beside the bed and gently wiped my hands with a dry towel. It's nothing serious. I can do it myself. I took the towel. Remembering what happened last night, I couldn't help but ask. What happened last night? Last night when you fell down the mountain? Everyone was extremely worried. Director Liu immediately sent a rescue team to look for you. Luckily, you were safe in the end. Everyone found you together. Everyone together? I frowned slightly, but I clearly remember last night. Nurse Kin nodded. Yes, you looked very peaceful at that time. That's not. I mean, you were lying very neatly on the ground, and your head was resting on a log. You looked like you were sleeping very peacefully. That put everyone at ease. I scratched my face, deep in thought. I thought I was sprawled out on the ground at the end. I have wronged Chen Fan. A tragic, desperate cry echoed from outside the room. I opened the door to look. Chu Youyu was live streaming in the living room, sobbing in front of the camera. It's because I lack mountain climbing experience. It was dark, so I couldn't see the path clearly. It's fine if I slip and fall myself, but this time I ended up harming someone else. If anything happens to Chen Fan, I will never forgive myself for the rest of my life. I narrowed my eyes. There it is again. The overacting. I'd rather believe that he's truly regretting it, but he probably regrets pushing me too hard, causing such serious consequences. The fact that he used me to get on Go Yue King's good side was definitely intentional. In that case, I won't hold back anymore. As the only guest on this show, who doesn't need to maintain a star image, of course I can do whatever I want. You damn bastard. You animal. I am going to deal with you. Director Liu had just stepped through the door. He instinctively raised his hand to stop me, as if to say wait, but there was no way to stop what was about to happen. I was seen grabbing the stainless steel water basin and leaping forward like an arrow. I sped past the trash can, the coffee table, Yao Shuling's potted plant, and even Bai Jiju's sofa and TV. I smashed the basin right over Chu You's head. Then I pounded on the basin with my fists, making a pang-pang sound. Whoa, that's brutal. Wait a minute. It seems like he just flew past some pretty formidable things. Yao Shuling, Bai Jizhou. Chen Fan is filled with so much resentment. It's not because his head isn't clear yet, is it? If a normal person knew they were on camera, they would at least act a little. Look, has there been any episode where Chen Fan bothered to act? Before that, Gui Yuqing had always been standing by the window, indifferent to everything around her. Suddenly, she looked up. Her gaze fell on my heroic figure as I punished Go Si Bai. Sparks began to appear in her usually calm eyes, like flames erupting in the quiet night sky, brilliant and full of hope. Kindred spirit. After Gu Si Bai was carried away on a stretcher, Gu Yue Qing stopped me at the bathroom door. She tightly grasped both of my hands. You hate Gu Si Bai too, right? This cold beauty, who usually only showed indifference towards Gu Si Bai, suddenly revealed an emotional expression in front of me, making me feel a bit unfamiliar. It's not really hate. The hopeful light in Gui Yue Qing's eyes dimmed slightly. I added, I just want him dead. Gu Yue Qing's eyes immediately lit up, as if she had just found a kindred spirit. She walked over and pushed me into the bathroom, then slammed the door shut. After being completely cut off from the outside, she finally spoke. Let's team up. Team up on what? To ruin Go Si Bai's reputation. Gu Yue Qing made no secret of her animosity towards Gu Si Bai, just as she had always shown. In return, I will help you improve your relationship with Chu Youyu. I will do my best to prevent you from being frozen. I quietly raised my hand. That's not. Gui Qing cut me off immediately. The reason you hate Gu Si Bai is because, from Gu Yue Qing's mouth, I heard an incredibly shocking story. A story so terrible that it was even worse than being knocked off the earth by Go Si Bai. It was truly a story, full of details, that were incredibly hard to stomach. Gu Bai is my future stepfather. Ah, sorry. My wording was a bit off. I should have said it like this. If I can't stop him in time, he will become my stepfather in the future. Gu Yuiqing walked to the toilet and sat down with a serious expression. Then she continued her story. It turns out that although Gu Yuiqing was born into a prestigious musical family, her family was not whole. Her parents divorced when she was young. After that, her father remarried, and her mother moved abroad. She stayed in the country and lived with her father. Luckily, her mother's love for her never waned. Despite the ocean between them, she always cared for her deeply. Thanks to that, even though her parents were divorced, she never felt lonely. However, the problem was that her mother was extremely blind when it came to love. 2 years ago, Gu Yuiqing discovered that her mother was in a close relationship with a man. After investigating, she found out that the other party was the domestic actor Gu Bai. She spent a large sum of money to investigate his background, and found that this actor had countless dark scandals in his past. Ever since he started his career, he's always had rich sponsors backing him. He almost always relied on others to get ahead. But when she showed that pile of documents to her mother, she was completely blinded by love. He told me all about these things a long time ago. He will change. Guai Yuiqing was furious. She immediately turned to the dark side and became an anti-fan of her own future stepfather. From then on, she relentlessly dug up and exposed his scandals. Her only goal was to ruin his reputation and help her mother come to her senses. At this rate, they're about to get married. Gu Yuiqing's fists clenched so tightly they cracked. Gu Bai doesn't love my mother at all. What he's after are her connections and resources. Gu Yuiqing's mother is a famous figure abroad. Thanks to her outstanding artistic talent, she holds a very high status. Even though Gu Bai is full of scandals in the country, he has managed to stay afloat for so long, largely thanks to Gu Yuiqing's mother's influence. I have to make Gu Bai completely expose himself on this show, so that he can never rise again. She paused for a moment, then added, I can't directly expose the fact that he's being kept by my mother. Don't misunderstand. I have no prejudice against women sponsoring younger men. My mother is single and lonely. Spending money to buy some happiness from men is her freedom. I just can't accept that the object of her affection is such a thoroughly filthy person, even if it's just to save some face for my mother in the future, so she won't be known for having raised a stupid pig. I still have to take down Gu Bai, while keeping this secret. After hearing Gu Yuiqing's story, only one thought came to my mind. This industry is really a mess, but it seems I am also in this industry. Making such a sweeping generalization doesn't seem right. Then I'll change it too. Gu Bai is truly a mess. Remembering Gu Bai's despicable behavior last night, it only took me 1 second to accept Gu Yuiqing's proposal. How do you want me to help? A flame of hope ignited in Guai Yuiqing's eyes. I will tell you all of Gu Bai's weaknesses that I've painstakingly collected over the past 2 years. I want you to help me tear off his fake mask, so his true face is exposed on the live stream for the whole world to see. Notification Gu Bai left on a rainy night was rejected. Sent a friend request. I had just clicked accept. The next second, the other party sent a file. The title was A Collection of Gu Bai's Bad Habits. I opened it to take a look. I couldn't help but exclaim, what is this? A 999-page PowerPoint presentation. It vividly described Gu Bai's shamelessness, including things like using someone's bathroom and forgetting to flush. What a tactless person. Getting drunk and peeing on someone else's bed, and when caught, causing even more trouble, and so on and so forth. I was completely shocked. You already have this secret weapon, so what do you need my help for? Just release this PPT, and hell have no choice but to move to Mars to live. Gu Bai, left on a rainy night, was rejected, replied. It's not that simple. I used all sorts of methods to dig up this information. There's no solid proof anymore. It's also hard to verify. Even if I release it now, no one will believe it. The best way is to make him repeat those bad habits right on this show. Only then will his image completely collapse. I looked at the PPT, lost in thought. In the end, I couldn't help but ask Gu Yuiqing, so did Gu Bai really wet the bed? That's right, at least before he was 6 years old. Good heavens. So this bedwetting incident was a feat of Gu Bai's from when he was 6. She really dug up everything, just short of revealing his household registration book. It seems Gu Yuiqing is truly a talent in the field of detective investigation, because last night, our safety measures were not thorough enough, resulting in the serious consequence of a guest being injured. To show our apology, we have prepared a week's worth of special nutritional meals for Mr. Chen. We hope Mr. Chen recovers soon. Director Liu stood in the middle of the living room, speaking very sincerely. The others heard this, and silently glanced at me. Their gazes seemed to ask, does a guy like him even need to recover? The moment Chen Fan woke up today, he looked like a mutated prehistoric man. The scene of him chasing Gu Bai is probably still vivid in everyone's minds, compared to me, who only has a band-aid on my forehead, the one who is wrapped in bandages like a mummy. Gu Bai seems much more seriously injured. Seeing that Chen Fan is okay, I feel relieved. Last night's incident was really chaotic. A guest fell off a cliff during filming. The anti-fans were even popping champagne to celebrate the news of Chen Fan's death. I didn't expect him to be so strong and healthy again today. Seriously. You guys are too vicious with your words. After all, Chen Fan didn't do anything that terrible. Cursing him to death is a bit. To the sister above. I agree with you, at least after watching this show. I don't find Chen Fan hateful at all. I find him quite genuine. On the contrary, the anti-fans celebrating his death last night made me feel truly disgusted. I suddenly feel a bit sorry for Chen Fan. That's not quite right. Gu Sibei got cursed out a lot for this last night, but it turns out Chen Fan is fine today. So wasn't Gu Sibei wrongly scolded, being spun around like a top by people? I feel more sorry for Gu Sibei. Chen Fan is fine, isn't it? Just because his physique is good? After all, Gu Sibei still injured someone. That's the truth. Why was I scolded for no reason? Your logic is flawed. That Gu Sibei didn't do it on purpose. So you think I scolded him on purpose? The comment section is in a heated debate over last night's incident. Someone on the show is making sarcastic remarks again. Well, someone usually does too many bad things. It's just karma. It's not the show's fault either. A lazy and provocative voice slowly rang out. Today, Chu Youyu is wearing a simple black dress. She was leaning back against the sofa. It gave her a girlish feel that didn't quite match her status. I squinted, staring at her waist as if in deep thought. Chu Youyu smirked and looked at me. She deliberately raised an eyebrow in provocation. Cat got your tongue? I remained indifferent and didn't answer. My eyes were locked on her waist. The smile on Chu Yuyu's face gradually faded. She followed my gaze downward. What are you looking at? Originally, I just wanted to find out if there really was a mole on Chu Yuyu's waist. But as soon as I heard this question, I suddenly had a mischievous idea. I immediately let out a wicked laugh. I tilted my chin towards her. What do you think I am looking at? A rare look of awkwardness flashed across Chu Yuyu's face, but her tone was as fierce as ever. How would I know what you're looking at? If you won't say it, then forget it. I let out another wicked laugh. My gaze still hadn't moved away. Nice, slender waist. Chu Yuyu's face immediately darkened. She grabbed a throw pillow from the sofa and lunged at me, ready for a life or death battle. In the end, it took 10 staff members, pulling and holding her back to barely get her under control. Miss Chu, please calm down. Mr. Chen is injured. Seeing Chu Yuyu's ruffled state, I contentedly withdrew my gaze. Very good. I've found another way to provoke Chu Youyu. Jiu Yueching stood by, observing everything. She couldn't help but recall her earlier conversation with me in the restroom. I agree to help you deal with Gu Sibei, but I don't need your help. To smooth things over with Chu Youyu, I have another request. Gu Yueching was a little curious. What request, in her opinion, as an artist like me, isn't the most urgent thing right now? To change Chu Yuyu's impression of me, so that I can survive in the entertainment industry? But I said, you said your mother is very influential abroad. Could you ask her to help me abroad? Find a shop with a steady stream of customers? I grinned widely. The light from the window reflected in my eyes. That smile was full of expectations for the future. To be honest with you, after I retire, I want to open a mochi shop. Retire? Watching me deliberately provoke Chu Youyu, Gu Yueching gradually understood something. So from the very beginning, Chen Fan's goal was to get his career cancelled. Today, we will be holding a special competition. Director Lia's voice interrupted Yu King's thoughts. Unlike the previous team divisions, today, it's not star and anti-fan pairs, but the 3 stars are on one team, and the 3 anti-fans are on another, kicking off a kite-flying competition in a star versus anti-fan format. A kite-flying competition? Yao Shuling tried to show her friendly side. That sounds very childlike. You probably think it's childish. Bai Zhizhou exposed her without mercy. Both teams must start from scratch, from making the kite to flying it. The winner will be decided by the kite's altitude. Director Liu continued. As for the prize for the winning team, the 3 members of the winning team can each make one request. To the 3 members of the losing team, the other party must comply. The moment he heard this, the mummy Gu Sibei sprang up from the sofa with great courage. Any request is okay. Anything at all. We must win this round. In the courtyard, the 3 members of the star team were having an emergency meeting. The mummy Gu Sibei removed the bandages from his body, which showed his determination to win at all costs. If we win, we can make any request to the other team. That means we can ask them in the next episode. When asked if they want the artist to leave the industry, they must answer no. Hearing this, Yao Shuling's eyes lit up. We can do that? Of course. I even think this is the opportunity the production team has given us. Gu Sibei said, making the anti-fans in a short amount of time clear up their misunderstandings about us is very difficult, almost impossible. After all, their misunderstandings about us have lasted for several years, so the production team has given us a chance to manipulate the answer ourselves. At least this way, our fate will no longer be completely in the hands of the anti-fans. I stood to the side, listening with great interest. This Gu Sibei really knows the art of speaking. He even used the word misunderstanding to describe the malice that the anti-fans have for him. That makes sense. Yao Shuling was clearly convinced. She glanced into the house through the window. Inside, the 3-person anti-fan team was also having a meeting. Coincidentally, Bai Zhizhou inside was also looking in this direction. Their eyes met. Yao Shuling froze and hastily looked away. Her fingertips tightened unconsciously. Gu Sibei was right. This was her only chance. She didn't believe Director Lia's promise that Bai Zhizhou would absolutely not let her get cancelled. Director Liu didn't understand the grudge between her and Bai Zizhou at all. With Bai Zizhou's personality, he would absolutely not let her off easy. We must win. Thinking of this, Yao Shuling's gaze also became more determined. So cunning. So cunning. You can't really call it cunning. You can only say they're making reasonable use of the rules. Director Liu already said it. Any request can be made, so there's nothing wrong with it. You can only say the production team is still too kind. They've given them a chance. Otherwise, based solely on the anti-fans' wishes, none of the three of them would have a chance to stay. The teams are divided. You must win. Don't let them achieve their goal. After staring at the three people outside the window for a long time, Bai Zizhou slowly withdrew his gaze and spoke. If they win, they will demand that we must answer no next time. Gu Yuiqing raised an eyebrow. How did you know? Bai Zizhou replied nonchalantly. I've learned a little bit of lip reading. Then all we have to do is win. The corner of Chu Youyu's lips curled up slightly. A confident gleam flashed in her deep eyes. What request to make after winning? That's not something we need to worry about, because we… She paused for a moment. Her tone carried an unquestionable certainty. Will not lose. With this statement from Chu Youyu, I feel at ease. Who doesn't know Chu Youyu's methods? Ever since her father stepped down, the projects the Chu family wanted have never failed. Everyone knows she's the one pulling the strings. Hot weather, sharp temper. If Sister Chu isn't smiling, don't mess around. And so, with netizens overwhelmingly siding with one team, supporting the anti-fan team, this kite flying competition officially began. The so-called starting from scratch means that even the materials for making the kite had to be found by ourselves. The production team was only responsible for providing kite strings of equal length. Everything else had to be self-sufficient. Of course, we weren't allowed to use money to buy them. Therefore, at this moment, to search for materials, the star team entered the forest, 2 kilometers away from the small houses. Beep, beep. My phone suddenly rang. I took it out to check. It was a message from Gu Yuiqing. Chen Fan, can you lose? Faced with this blatant request, my answer was very decisive. Sure. Gu Yuiqing on the other end must have been smiling a satisfied smile. The next message immediately appeared, but I immediately added another sentence. But there's someone next to me. Gu Si Bai. Wait a moment. Yao Shuling, standing right next to me, had read every single word of the message. She grabbed my wrist and yelled at Go Si Bai up ahead. We have a mole among us. In this situation, I could only scratch my head and laugh awkwardly. Can't be helped. I had just taken out my phone when the message popped up on the screen. This is the consequence of not using a privacy screen protector. After Gu Si Bai found out about my secret communication with Gu Yuqing, he looked like the sky was falling. One Gu Yuqing was already enough to make his life miserable. Now add one more person who's been acting like a lunatic lately. He felt like he already had one foot in the grave. A star and an anti-fan secretly communicating. Can things get this dramatic? Did Chen Fan and Gu Yuiqing know each other before? Probably not. They didn't interact at all during the first 2 days of the show. I am leaning towards the theory that Chen Fan holds a grudge after being pushed off the mountain by Go Si Bai, so he chose to team up with Gu Yuiqing to get revenge on Gu Si Bai. The 2 people I hate the most are now enemies. This is interesting. Besides, don't forget everyone. Chen Fan and Yao Shuling are competitors, so if he betrays them, not only can he get revenge on Gu Si Bai, but he'll also put Yao Shuling in a tough spot, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Sorry, we can only tie you up for now. After tying my hands tightly, Gu Si Bai showed a pained expression. I don't want to be rude to my teammate either, but we can't let you interfere in this round. Yao Shuling nodded continuously in agreement. To prevent you from pulling any tricks while we're making the kite. This is the best way. Me. With my hands tied, blinked once. I silently raised my hands, squatted down. I positioned the rope between my hands, aiming for a rather sharp rock, and rubbed it frantically. Facts have proven this measure cannot stop a spy who has been plotting for a long time. I made Gu Si Bai and Yao Shuling gape in astonishment, their jaws about to hit the floor. When I frayed the rope apart, I stood up and glanced at them twice, and blinked again, then turned and ran off. Gu Si Bai jumped, startled. After collecting himself, he immediately gave chase. Catch him. Yao Shuling was completely stunned, but her body instinctively followed, running and screaming in desperation. But even so, why do we have to catch him? Actually, we just need to keep him away from the kite. The production team had to send a wildlife documentary cameraman just to clearly film the 3 swift figures in the forest. I was running wildly through the trees, crossing obstacles, pole vaulting over ditches, even swinging on vines to fly. Commentary. An outstanding primate. Ga Si Bai gritted his teeth and chased frantically, arms swinging at high speed, buttocks clenched, straining so hard that his veins were popping. Commentary. This feels so unfortunate. Running last was Yao Shuling, hands on her hips, panting, drenched in sweat. Her face was flushed. Her staggering steps were fueled by her last breath of energy. Commentary. This is me during a fitness test. Take the camera away. Stop filming. Stop filming. Watching the figure in front run further and further away, until it was just a black dot. An unknown anger blinded him, making him unable to stop. He couldn't hold it in anymore, and yelled, "You wild chicken." Yao Shuling struggled to catch up, leaning one hand on a tree trunk, panting heavily. Who are you calling? Gu Bai suddenly came to his senses and immediately tried to save the situation. Wild chickens are a rare and protected species, so we must cherish them. Realizing his slip of the tongue, he was filled with regret, but he still tried to appear calm on the outside. He smiled and turned to look at Yao Shuling. Actually, we don't need to chase him. We just need to keep him away from the kite. Yao Shuling replied. Isn't that what I just said? Gu Bai said awkwardly. Oh, really? Ha 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 ha. And so, lacking a capable assistant, the star team began the process of making the kite. Facts have proven my interference was still effective. The rival team's kite has already taken shape, while this side has only just begun. Gu Yue Qing's dexterity is truly undeniable. Honestly, even without colluding, I think they're sure to win. Bai Zhizhou is also very smart. He knows to use clothes made of thin silk to make the kite surface. That way, the kite will be very sturdy. I, the exile, was lying on a wooden boat, drifting aimlessly in the middle of the lake, leisurely staring blankly at the white clouds in the sky. This cloud looks exactly like a freshly baked mochi cake. The drone was filming me from above, in a frame that originally only had one wooden boat. On the rippling surface of the lake, another boat slowly approached, until it was parallel to my boat. A familiar, provocative greeting rang out. Chu Youyu rested her elbow on the boat's edge, lazily resting her chin in her hand. She smiled at me leisurely. I heard you've been isolated. I looked up into her eyes, a gaze that clearly came to watch a joke. Go get a lip piercing. Chu Youyu. You'd suit having your upper and lower lips pierced together. Chu Youyu wasn't even angry. Still resting her head in her hand, she gave a half smile. Looks like you know you can't win. So, you're starting to give up? That's a pretty good realization. Let me think. If I win, what should I make you do? I smiled carelessly. So what? How about making you starve for 3 days? The smile on my face faltered slightly. Or maybe from now on, you can't take the elevator downstairs every day, and you can't take the stairs either. Chu Youyu seemed to have a brilliant idea. Her finger tapped lightly on her cheek. Or maybe during the filming of this show, it'll make you run 10 laps around the mountain every night. While running and shouting Chu Youyu is my ancestor, I shot up immediately. No way. I absolutely cannot let Chu Youyu win. I immediately grabbed the paddle on the boat, sat up straight, both hands gripping the paddle in front of me, and started paddling like a madman. Ah, he's turned the paddle into a propeller. My goodness. Camera, don't focus on Chen Fan's face yet. I am afraid hell eat me alive. I am back from my outing. I appeared, panting, in front of the star team's camp gate, with a very goofy smile on my face. Hee hee. What's so funny? Gu Bai and Yao Shuling each held one end of a rope and swiftly tied me tightly to a post. Gu Bai shouted. I knew that while we were making the kite, you would come back to cause trouble. Sorry, Chen Fan. This is the last resort, Yao Shuling added. Before the competition ends, you should just stay here for now. I could only plead my innocence. You've wrongly tied me up. I am a good person, but no one cared. Despite having turned over a new leaf, I was a former spy who had lost the trust of his teammates. I don't know why this team is so dramatic. I am dying of laughter. It's okay. I've figured it out. Both Gu Bai and Yao Shuling are completely clueless about crafts. Those two won't be able to win anyway. The comments weren't wrong. Gu Bai and Yao Shuling really don't know how to make a kite. Even when looking up instructions on their phones, they're at the level of still messing up while looking at a template. Yao Shuling held a bamboo stick, frowning. The instructions say we have to connect 2 bamboo sticks here. The bamboo stick has to be this thick, but we only have 1 stick. What do we do now? Gu Bai pondered for a moment, then break it in half, and then connect them together. People connect 2 sticks because they aren't long enough. Your stick is already long enough. Why do you want to break it in half and then connect it again? Are you crazy? I am getting so impatient that I wish I could turn into a stubborn fish and slip through the gap in the rope. All the rope was used to tie up Chen Fan. There's no extra rope to secure the bamboo frame. What now? Yao Shuling asked again. Gu Bai picked up the scissors. Let me cut a piece of the kite string too. Use. Finally, unable to stand the conversation between these two idiots, I burst out with extraordinary strength and suddenly snapped the rope on my body. Then, right before the eyes of a horrified Gu Bai and Yao Shuling, I turned into a fierce dog and furiously charged forward, grabbing that mess of a bamboo frame, and started fixing their shapeless creation. Gu Bai, almost scared out of his wits, came to his senses. Don't let him touch our kite. Stop him. Yao Shuling was also jolted awake by the shout and rushed over in a panic and grabbed Gu Bai's hand, which was about to snatch the kite back. Gu Bai shouted, Why are you grabbing me? Go catch Chen Fan. I was originally planning to catch Chen Fan. Yao Shuling frowned. Although I really don't want to admit it, I suddenly think he seems to be doing a better job than us. Under my lightning-fast, nimble hands, a kite frame with clear angles and a sturdy structure was gradually taking shape. Commentary. Now this is a proper kite. That pile that Gu Bai and Yao Shuling just made, I thought it was some kind of rag. I didn't expect Chen Fan to even know how to make a kite. Is the Liu family's education that extensive? But he works really quickly. His movements are just like my grandma's when she's sewing clothes, just like the skillful older generation. I drew on the kite's surface a Chu Youyu with a pig's nose, and captioned it with the large words, "Stupid pig Chu Youyu." Only then did I declare the kite officially complete. It's done. If nothing unexpected happens, it will fly very high. Let me check it. Gusibei snatched the kite, looking it up and down, looking left and right, inspecting it inside and out, wishing he could check it over 800 times. He then looked at me with a half-believing, half-doubting expression. "You're really not betraying us, are you?" I raised 4 fingers. "I swear, your oaths are useless." Yao Shuling pulled Gu Sibai to a corner and whispered in his ear, "I think Chen Fan might want us to let our guard down. What if he tries to sabotage it while we're flying the kite?" Gu Sibai had a sudden realization. "You have a point." He turned back and said to me righteously, "It's fine that you made the kite, but we absolutely cannot let you fly it." I casually plopped down on a chair. "Fine. You guys do it. Anyway, the most important step is done. The outcome is already crystal clear." Before the words were even finished, Yao Shuling was seen throwing the kite forcefully into the sky, then turned and ran for her life, dragging the kite for a full 10 meters on the ground. Gu Sibai carefully tossed the kite into the air. Immediately after, with lightning speed, jumping back and forth, constantly moving left and right, successfully wrapped myself up like a rice dumpling. Gu Sibai and Yao Shuling immediately became much more obedient. They respectfully placed the kite into my hands. "It's still better to let me handle it." 4 p.m. At the open field by the lake, the 2 teams were ready. Each team held their kites, standing at the left and right ends. On the celebrity team's kite, the large word "Stupid Pig Chu Youyu" fluttered in the wind. The anti-fan team was not to be outdone. Their kite not only had the names of the 3 celebrities, but also had a huge word flop written on it, as if casting a spell. Yao Shuling's mouth twitched. Such a vicious curse. "I can't believe you guys actually made it." Chu Youyu spoke first. Her aura was just like that of a major villain in a TV drama. "But so what? You think you can actually make it fly?" "Miss Chu, please stop talking." Wa Qing quietly stopped her. Her voice was filled with helplessness. "The goading tactic has already successfully turned one of my spies. Can you please stop stimulating the opponent's desire to win?" I lowered my head and let out 2 cold laughs. I stepped out from the team. I slowly raised my head. A fire of determination to win ignited in my eyes. "All right, then let's wait and see. Whoever loses, the loser has to act like a dog. How about it?" Chu Youyu smiled. "All right, little puppy Chen." I raised an eyebrow. I hear a dog barking." Chu Youyu. "As expected, dogs can hear sounds that humans can't. You two look like a couple of junkies arguing at the entrance of my village. I can't wait anymore. Hurry up and start the match." Director Liu really knows how to stir up emotions. Before the match officially began, he even started a poll right on the live stream. "Which team do I support more? Celebrity team versus anti-fan team." As expected, as soon as the poll opened, the anti-fan team's blue health bar shot up with an overwhelming advantage. Just as the celebrity team's red health bar was about to disappear, a miracle happened. The red health bar, like a sprout just breaking through the soil, began to rise weakly but resiliently, finally forming a 9-to-1 ratio. Why are there still people supporting the celebrity team? Have you realized it yet? What the hell? Do those 3 actually have fans? The live stream has tens of millions of viewers. That sliver of a health bar also means that several million people are supporting them. Who on earth is so desperate? Amidst the questioning from the anti-fan team supporters, a few comments quietly appeared. "All right, it'll come clean. I've been corrupted too. I know this is wrong, but I am starting to love the celebrity team." The sudden appearance of the celebrity team supporters caused a huge shock to the anti-fan team's fans. As a result, the comment section was immediately filled with nothing else. The entire screen was filled with "Go anti-fan team." Although the celebrity team was also trying to send messages, but because their numbers were small, they were always overwhelmed. Only a few scattered lines could be seen, but that was enough. Witnessing this, Gu Xiaibei wiped the tears from the corner of his eyes. He looked up at the camera and said firmly, word by word, "Even though we don't have many supporters, I will never forget this encouragement. I will definitely lead your will to victory. Get lost." "Gu Xibai, you're blocking my camera view. I want to watch Chen Fan compete." A bright red comment in an extra large font size, both large and bold, scrolled past instantly. "Gu Xibai." This line was eventually buried too. The match officially begins. Time limit: half an hour. The team whose kite flies higher will win. The show will use a drone to measure the altitude in the air. Everyone can rest assured. The match will be completely fair and transparent. Director Liu just gave the order. "Match. Begin." The 3 members of the anti-fan team acted quickly. They had practiced beforehand. The 3 of them coordinated very well. Their roles were reasonably assigned. They launched the kite in a systematic way. The 3 members of the celebrity team also acted quickly. Gu Sibei and Yao Shuling quickly stepped aside, making sure they weren't in the way. They successfully gave me a hand, so I could launch the kite again. Both teams' kites successfully took off. Next is releasing the string, to see whose kite can fly higher. This step might seem simple, but it requires a great deal of patience and the ability to control the wind direction. Just then, an incident occurred. The wind suddenly grew stronger. The kites on both sides began to sway, tilting sharply to one side. The sudden incident threw the anti-fan team into chaos. Actually, these kite-flying tips were something they had just hastily searched for online. They hadn't yet considered the possibility of a sudden, strong gust of wind like this. While they were hastily taking out their phones to search, I had already started to act. I quickly let out more kite string. I continuously tugged hard on the spool in my hand. Then I moved in the opposite direction of the kite's tilt. After a series of maneuvers, the kite barely managed to maintain its balance and rode the wind to fly a few meters higher. At the same time, Chen Fan shouted, "Activate Plan B." As soon as these words were spoken, the expressions of Gu, Ci, and Yao Shuling in the distance changed slightly. The two of them looked at each other. Both saw the hesitation in the other's eyes. Chen Fan said while flying the kite, "It's fine if you don't activate it. It's just that I can't guarantee a win then. If we lose, the other team just gets to make one demand. Maybe they'll make you starve for 3 days. Maybe they'll make you go downstairs in the future without using the elevator or the stairs. Or maybe they'll make you run 20 laps around the mountain every day and shout, 'I am the #1 junkie in the universe.' Of course, the most important thing is, next time, their answer will definitely be yes." Another red X means one step closer to having your career frozen, meaning you can only be an ordinary person from now on. At this point, Gu Ci Bai and Yao Shuling suddenly seemed as if some intense determination had been ignited within them. Their eyes suddenly became resolute. The next second, both of them charged straight towards the 3 members of the anti-fan team. The internet says when you encounter strong winds, you need to vent it. The first step is. Bai Qizhou was reading the content on his phone when he was suddenly hit by an extremely strong force. The next second, both he and his phone were sent flying. Watching Gu Ci Bai send Bai Qizhou flying with his butt, I nodded in satisfaction. "Gu Ci Bai, I knew your butt had this kind of talent. Sorry about that." Yao Shuling followed closely behind. She grabbed Gu Yu Qing's hand, which was holding the spool. The next second, Yao Shuling began to shake her hand violently, causing the released kite string to be violently jerked around. "Chu Youyu, catch!" Gu Yu Qing reacted extremely quickly. She forcefully broke free from Yao Shuling's grip and handed the spool to Chu Youyu. And just as Yao Shuling was about to continue harassing Chu Youyu, she locked both of her hands. Control of the kite fell into Chu Youyu's hands. Gu Yue Qing and Yao Shuling restrained each other just like that. "Hey, this is too despicable," Gu Yue Qing said through gritted teeth. Yao Shuling also gritted her teeth and silently exerted her strength. "The rules don't forbid it." Chu Youyu quickly stabilized the swaying kite. Just then, the wind stopped. Both teams' kites had flown to their highest point. The difference was minuscule. Now it's a one-on-one showdown between Chu Youyu and me. Interesting. I didn't expect the young lady of the Chu family to know how to fly a kite. Chu Youyu curled her lip. The adopted son of the Liu family isn't bad either. After the verbal spar, the two of them began to compete again, and the show's countdown clock also entered its final minute. After 1 minute, the team with the higher kite will be the win. At this point, both sides' kites were stable. The kite strings were fully let out, in the case of equally long kite strings. 2. Secure a win. It seems I have to find another way. I looked at Chu Youyu, who was gradually approaching me, because she was adjusting the kite's direction. A plan formed in my mind. "Chu Youyu, actually, you have a secret crush on me, don't you?" A sudden remark made Chu Youyu's entire body freeze as if someone had hit pause. She turned her head back at an extremely slow speed. Her face was covered in dark lines. The corner of her mouth twitched uncontrollably. "What did you say?" I pretended not to see the fiery glare in her eyes. I chuckled. "Aren't you my anti-fan because you like me? You want to get my attention, right? Otherwise, someone of your status wouldn't need to stoop to joining this show for me. You actually want to hit on me, right?" Crack. It seemed to be the sound of Chu Youyu clenching her fists. It also seemed to be the sound of her grinding her teeth. Chen Fan. Gu Yue Qing's expression changed in the distance. "Chu Youyu, don't fall for it. Hez. I think you're tired of living." Chu Youyu abruptly let go of the kite string in her hand. She charged at me like a fierce dog, watching the kite zip away and disappear. Gu Yu Qing's heart shattered along with it. She had to swallow the words she hadn't finished saying. "He's intentionally disgusting you." Heh. I triumphantly raised my hand. Looking at the furious Chu Youyu charging towards me, I flashed a brilliant smile. I won. Chu Youyu slammed on the brakes. It seemed she only just came to her senses. She abruptly turned her head to look in the direction of the kite. Her team's kite was no longer in the sky. It had long since fallen and gotten stuck in a tree. Despicable. So despicable. The celebrity team is so despicable. Just as despicable as they are. Don't be so salty. This makes it interesting. Competition requires strategy. Just flying kites is boring to death. But I didn't expect Chu Youyu to be so easily provoked. She doesn't seem like such an irrational person. It depends on the situation. She hates Chen Fan to the bone. And on top of that, she was misunderstood to be secretly in love with him. Anyone would find that disgusting. That's true. It can only be said that Chen Fan knows too well Chu Youyu's weakness. Doesn't that just prove Chen Fan's cunning? Congratulations to the celebrity team for winning victory in the first kite flying competition. Next, we invite the losing team to come up and award the medals to our winning team. The show is extremely thoughtful. They even prepared 3 gold medals. The winning team stepped onto the podium with radiant smiles. Everyone's smile came from the bottom of their hearts. As for the losing team, everyone had a dark expression. Chu Youyu threw the medal at me as if tossing a bone to a dog. when Gu Yuqing was putting the medal on Gu Bai. She conveniently tightened the ribbon, so tight that the whites of his eyes showed. Bai Qizhou walked up to Yao Shuling with the medal. Just as he was about to put it on her, his movement paused. The corner of his lips curled into a contemptuous, self-mocking smile. How ridiculous. I thought I would never do this again. Yao Shuling opened her mouth to speak, but then stopped. In the end, she said nothing. She held out her hand. Let me do it myself. Before she could finish her sentence, Bai Qizhou took a step forward. The distance between them immediately narrowed. They were just inches apart. He placed the medal around her neck. Yao Shuling was stunned. Smelling that familiar scent, her mind suddenly drifted back to a time long ago. Director Liu. Next. The winning team can, one by one, make one demand of the losing team. Comment section, do you even need to ask? The celebrity team's demand is so obvious. To demand the anti-fans answer no next time. What else? To be honest, I think a forced hand isn't sweet. An answer obtained this way will only make the anti-fans dislike them more. The aftermath will be disastrous. Gu Bai walked up to Gu Yuqing in front of everyone. Gu Yuqing looked at him with annoyance. He said the words that everyone had anticipated. Gu Bai lowered his eyes and smiled. His gentle gaze fell upon Gu Yuqing. My request is that I hope Yuqing can have a good night's sleep tonight. At least for today, don't let the resentment you have for me affect your mood. That's enough for me. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire set fell silent, feeling countless gazes fixed on him. Gu Bai just smiled without saying anything, but in his heart, he was already admiring his own cleverness. Do you people understand what take one step back to take two steps forward means? You fools. First, create a smokescreen about forcing the anti-fan to change her answer. But in the end, create a heart-stirring plot twist. This shock will only make Gu Yuqing change her opinion of him, thinking he is a magnanimous and forgiving person. What's the use of winning just once? His ultimate goal is to conquer Gu Yuqing's heart, to obtain that eternal security. Brilliant. Truly brilliant. Some staff member muttered a sentence. After hearing that, Yao Shuling immediately realized something. So that's how it is. Me too. She immediately turned to look at Bai Qizhou, imitating Gu Bai's manner. She said sincerely, my request is that I hope you are happy every day. Bai Qizhou completely saw through Yao Shuling's intention. He was silent for a moment, then laughed coldly. All right, in that case, I'll vote to cancel you every single time. Yao Shuling. Why didn't it go as she thought it would? The comment section is laughing its head off. She tried to play a psychological game, but she ran into someone who wouldn't take the bait. I admit that Gu Bai's move surprised me a little, but Yao Shuling shouldn't have copied it exactly. Does she take Bai Qizhou for a fool? The camera turned to me. After Gu Bai had just shown off his skills, everyone was waiting to see how I would react. My request is for Chu Youyu to strip naked and run 10 laps around the town. An unexpected request appeared, but surprisingly, this time, Chen Fan wasn't. Scolded. Awesome. This is the first time I've supported Chen Fan so enthusiastically. Strip. Chen Fan. You just wait. The words were almost hissed through gritted teeth. Chu Youyu forced a smile, but her eyes looked like she wanted to eat me alive. If you dare to play, you dare to face the consequences. She decisively lifted the hem of her short t-shirt. Her flat, toned abdomen, along with her beautiful 11-line abs, were exposed to the air, causing those around to gasp in amazement. Her figure was as beautiful as a work of art, not an ounce of fat. Every line was full of strength and beauty, extremely captivating. Had enough of a look? Chu Youyu laughed coldly, interrupting the train of thought of the person who was staring at her body. Me. Cherish the only time you get the chance to walk all over me. There won't be a next time. After saying that, she turned and walked straight out. Holy crap, follow her. Hey, cameraman, hurry up and follow her. I've never begged anyone in my life. Director Liu, I am begging you. You must film the entire process of these 10 laps. No way. The punishment process must be shown to the audience. Only then can we determine if it was completed or not. Doesn't everyone think what I am saying makes sense? After Chu Yuyu's figure completely disappeared behind the door, only then did I discreetly frown slightly. Chu Youyu doesn't have that red mole on her waist. Then who exactly was that person that night? While waiting for the show to prepare my nutritional meal, watching the people busy in the kitchen preparing dinner, I felt incredibly comfortable. This injury was worth it. Outside, thunder suddenly roared and lightning flashed. Raindrops as big as beans rattled against the glass door. The storm arrived fiercely and suddenly. The sky had already grown dark. The rainy night was as dark as a wild beast, as if it wanted to swallow this entire small town. I looked at the storm outside the window, and then it occurred to me. Chu Youyu isn't back yet, right? The show probably has someone following and filming her. She should be fine. Gu Yuqing brought a bowl of freshly cooked noodles and sat down opposite me. Just then, Director Liu rushed in. Mr. Chen, Miss Chu still isn't back yet. With a storm like this, I am afraid she might be in danger. Gu Yuqing paused. Where's the camera crew? Miss Chu said it was embarrassing, so she didn't allow us to film. Gu Yuqing slowly looked over at me. Her eyes only showed two words. We're screwed. I stood with an umbrella in the middle of Yuehu town, which was engulfed in the storm. I really had no choice. Chu Youyu went missing because she was carrying out the punishment I gave her. If anything happens to her, I can't escape responsibility. Besides, I don't want anything to happen to her either. The pace of life in this town is very slow. Everyone goes to bed very early. Only a few scattered houses had faint lights on, helping me to see the road ahead. I struggled to move forward in the pouring rain, trying to find any sign of Chu Youyu. The weather was getting worse and worse. Now I realize the sudden strong wind this afternoon was an omen for this bad weather. Now, both gales and storms had arrived. The rain slanted down, lashing against me. Even with an umbrella, I was soaked from head to toe. Thinking back, I have experienced many rainy nights like this before. The feeling of heavy raindrops whipping against my skin, I was all too familiar with it. It's just a shame I didn't bring any shampoo today. Otherwise, I could have generously poured it over my head. The moment I collapsed in the rain, there was only one thought in my mind. If I'd known this would happen, I would have finished my nutritional meal before going out to look for her. I am so hungry. Director Liu, wearing a raincoat, and the cameramen were secretly following me. It's about time. Secretly turn on the camera and start filming. Be careful, don't get caught. Director Liu was instructing the cameraman when he suddenly heard a splash in the distance. He looked up. I had collapsed in the rain. The umbrella slipped from my hand and was immediately blown away by the wind. Director Liu and the cameraman both jumped in shock. They instinctively started to run over there. The cameraman even threw his equipment aside. But the next second, a figure quickly ran out from the rain and lifted me up from the ground and knocked on the door of Zheng Ming's house, where the lights were still on. It wasn't until those two figures went inside the house that the cameraman dazedly reacted. Director Liu, do we still need to go over there? Director Liu, let's just wait here first. The warm orange light in the room flickered. The sound of firewood crackling in the fireplace. Chu Youyu stood with her back against the folding screen until the uncle of the house announced that the clothes had been changed. Only then did she approach. The person on the bed had been changed into a set of clean clothes. His body had also been dried. Just like that, my eyes were shut tight. Lying there in silence, after thanking the auntie, Chu Youyu walked over to the bed and sat down. The man was lying peacefully on the bed. The firelight cast a hazy glow on my face. The previous sharpness and prickliness had completely vanished. Only endless gentleness remained. Chu Youyu slowly reached out her hand. Her fingertip paused, just as it was about to touch my cheek. Her gaze wavered slightly. Even her breath hitched for a moment due to nervousness. After carefully confirming that I showed no signs of waking up, she was very careful, as if she were holding a treasure. She gently touched my cheek with her fingertip. Chu Youyu has a secret buried deep in her heart. His name is Chen Fan. It was a rainy afternoon. The rain was fierce and violent, just like tonight. Chu Youyu couldn't stand her parents' arguments. She planned to climb the wall and sneak out as usual. But as she climbed the wall, she saw a scene at the Liu family's house opposite. In the front yard of the Liu family's house, there was a strange boy she had never seen before. He was wearing ragged clothes. They were clearly several sizes too big for him. Standing in the rain, he looked just like a beggar. Standing under the eaves in front of him was the ever-stern head of the Liu family. Liu Guosheng just stood there coldly, looking at the boy, not yet 8 years old. Standing in the rain, there was not a hint of compassion in his eyes. Your father swindled my family out of 10 million yuan. Do you know that? Such a young child. Probably doesn't even have a concept of 10 million yuan. Doesn't even know how much that is. He just let the rain pour down on him. His hair was plastered to his face, soaking wet. He looked up, his eyes filled with confusion and helplessness. Looking at the adult before him, who was full of malice towards him, he ran away. From now on, you will be the one to repay the debt. Remember this well. Until you've paid off this 10 million, you will forever be a dog of the Liu family. The humiliation, the trampling and bullying, those terrible things were heaped upon a child. It was the utmost cruelty. But Chu Youyu was born into a prestigious family. She had witnessed too much darkness, so this scene didn't evoke any pity in her. As she was about to look away and jump down from the wall, she suddenly heard an extremely faint sound. Woof. That wasn't the bark of a small dog. She looked towards the Liu family's house again in disbelief. That scruffy little boy slowly brought his hands up to his chest and gave Liu Guosheng a fawning smile like a little puppy. Woof, woof. That was the first time she saw Chen Fan. After that, the boy stayed at the Liu family's house. The Liu family announced to the public that he was their adopted son. They would occasionally bring him to events. In public, they pretended to care for him deeply. But behind the scenes, they treated him worse than a dog. She had seen him countless times, lying in the Liu family's backyard covered in injuries. The dogs in the kennel ate nutritious meals, personally prepared by the butler, while he could only watch with a sallow, skinny face. But she had also seen, in the dead of night, he would secretly file through the electrical wire leading to the Liu family's study, making it look like natural urban wear and tear. During quiet afternoons, he would secretly put firecrackers in the underwear of the Liu family members that were hanging out to dry. When the butler was on leave, he secretly trained the Liu family's dog to bite its owner in a sensitive spot. He always acted weak, harmless, and obedient, making it so no one would ever suspect him. One way in front of people, another way behind their backs. Afterward, The Liu family even thought there was a problem with their house's feng shui. They specially invited a feng shui master to perform an exorcism. Chu Youyu saw Chen Fan take advantage of a moment when no one was paying attention. He secretly wrote on every single one of the talismans. From the feng shui master, writing 2 tiny words, "Idiot." She didn't know when it started. Chu Youyu had fallen for this boy. The one who always acted obediently in front of everyone, but only she knew his true face. That incredibly charming and calculating side. During her long, dark period, he was the only color. She secretly admired him, but she didn't dare to get close. She watched him quietly from a dark corner, like a mouse that never sees the sun. There was a room in her house that was always locked. It stored all the photos and memorabilia of him since his debut. She saw his glamorous appearance on screen. She was genuinely happy for him. Until this show was officially announced. The losing artist would have their activities frozen for 3 years. He couldn't disappear from her sight, and he certainly couldn't leave in such a humiliating way. This was probably an opportunity. She bribed the person with the ID account, get lost already, to replace that obsessive fan, and entered the game herself. She presented an arrogant and wicked side of herself to help him clear his name. As long as she acted terrible enough, the audience would sympathize with him, pity him, and gradually discover his good qualities through the show. He would get everything he wanted. As for her, just being able to watch him from a distance was enough. Her warm fingertip gently touched his slightly cold cheek. The moment their skin touched, Chu Youyu's fair skin flushed noticeably. If you lifted the hem of her shirt right now, you would see a red mole gradually appearing on her hip. The door's open. The door's open. Outside, the cameraman who had been waiting outside the door for an hour, he had almost fallen asleep, finally saw it. The door to that room opened after the rain stopped. Chu Youyu walked out from inside, carrying me on her back. After thanking the uncle, she turned and left. It seems Mr. Chen is alright. What a relief. Not hearing the cameraman's muttering at all. Director Liu was just lost in thought, looking at the scene not far away. Then he slapped the cameraman hard on the shoulder. At this moment, the live stream rooms for Chen Fan and Chu Youyu, which had been closed for a long time, suddenly reopened at the same time. The image inside made all the viewers' jaws drop in shock. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Exclamations echoed everywhere. On the screen, Chu Youyu was carrying me on her back across the waterlogged ground. The moonlight stretched their 2 shadows, casting reflections on the uneven puddles. As beautiful as a dream. This scene is really weird. Or maybe the mushrooms I just ate weren't cooked properly. Logically speaking, shouldn't Chu Youyu be throwing him in a parabolic arc, tossing Chen Fan 80,000 miles away? Am I the only one wondering why? Chu Youyu is wearing a shirt, and Chen Fan's clothes are also completely different from when he went out. They look like local people's clothes. It feels like the two of them ran into some trouble, and then received help. But why is Chen Fan the one being carried? Didn't Chen Fan go out to find Chu Youyu who had lost contact? I get it now. Chen Fan must have found Chu Youyu, then got knocked out by Chu Youyu. Chu Youyu was afraid of being held responsible, so she had to carry Chen Fan back. Holy crap, what a genius. Number Chu Youyu carries Chen Fan home. Number. I can't believe I am getting fed dog food in this hate-filled show. Number compilation of sweet moments of the hate couple. Number. A strange scene has appeared, and strange keywords are following close behind. Many netizens, upon clicking, the first thing they do is leave a question mark. But while their mouths complain, their hands keep watching avidly. Rebirth story. My husband cheated and died. The mistress and I got together. Who told you that poop-flavored candy is edible? Whatever. I've never eaten poop either, but since I am already here, might as well give it a taste. The Liu family's study. Liu Ru Yan was flipping through a stack of documents in her hand. The veins on her forehead were throbbing. The paper in her hand was gradually crumpled and deformed. Ding ding. A notification from Weibo popped up. An image flashed onto the computer screen. Her pupils contracted suddenly. I sat by the bed, slurping the hot porridge the nurse just brought. I just found it ridiculous. I can't believe I was so hungry last night that I fainted. It must have been from using too much energy flying the kite, and I hadn't eaten dinner. On top of that, I went out into the wind and rain. Plus, the wound from falling down the mountain slope last time hadn't fully healed. Thinking back on it, my days on this show have been so difficult. If I had known, I should have finished my nutritious meal last night before leaving. Chu Youyu is as strong as an ox. Even if I had been a little late, she would have been fine. Thinking of this, I turned my head to look out the window. By the lake not far away, Chu Youyu was lounging around like a lord, wearing sunglasses and enjoying the sunshine. Anyone who didn't know would think she was on vacation. I really want to punch her. My knuckles cracked. Chen Fan, a voice that was both familiar and nauseating, suddenly rang out in the room. I turned my head to look. I don't know when the door to the room was opened. A woman in a high-end dark suit was standing imposingly in the room. Her gaze towards me was full of indifference. It turned out to be Liu Ru Yan. Haven't seen you in a few days. She's still as rude as ever. Don't you know to knock before entering someone's room? Liu Ru Yan was clearly dissatisfied with my attitude. Her eyebrows furrowed tightly. There was a hint of impatience in her voice. Chen Fan, watch your attitude. The atmosphere in the room became as tense as a drawn bowstring. The camera recorded everything. At this moment in the live stream room, the comments exploded like a stirred-up beehive. Oh my god, it's Liu Ru Yan. Why is Liu Ru Yan on this show? Is she here to visit Chen Fan? Is that even possible? Chen Fan has been in the industry for 5 years. Isn't it always him who goes to great lengths to find Liu Ru Yan? But as for Liu Ru Yan has never visited him. And how dare Chen Fan talk to Liu Ru Yan like that? I've been following their story for so long. Has there ever been a time when Chen Fan didn't grovel before Liu Ru Yan? That time before. The time of the wedding. If I remember correctly, that was the last time they appeared together. Chen Fan already talked back to Liu Ru Yan that time. The livestream room went completely black. And then after that, the audience couldn't see anything anymore. The comments were filled with complaints, but no one paid any attention. Liu Ru Yan used her suit jacket to cover the camera lens. She turned, walked to the sofa, and sat down. Annoyed, she loosened her tie. Chen Fan, you better explain clearly to me what these are. She threw a document folder onto the table. The papers inside scattered all over the floor. One of them slid to my feet. I knew what was going on with just one glance. It was a photo. A photo of me helping Du Zitang escape from the Du family's house the night before the wedding. You forced Zitang to leave. Chen Fan, are you that desperate to marry me? So much so that you'd force Zitang to leave the night before the wedding. If that's the case, then at the wedding itself, why did you pretend to be so noble, trying to play hard to get? Looking at Liu Ru Yan's confident expression, as if she had seen through everything, I burst out laughing. I slurped down the last mouthful of porridge, then picked up the bowl, and slowly walked in front of Liu Ru Yan. Under her mocking and triumphant gaze, I flipped the porridge bowl and slammed it right on her head. It happened so fast that Liu Ru Yan didn't even have time to react. My counterattack came in a rapid-fire burst. First, Du Zitang willingly ran away from the wedding because you're too ugly. Second, I rejected you at the wedding, also because you're too ugly. Third, stop being so delusional. You think people avoiding you is just some stupid game of playing hard to get. The simple truth is just that you are too ugly. Liu Ru Yan struggled to get the bowl off her head. She looked thunderstruck. In disbelief, she slowly turned her head, looking at the reflection in the window with its cold face, and that sharp, arrogant jawline. Her facial muscles twitched. He said, she was ugly. That was a comment Liu Ru Yan had never heard in her life, and also the funniest joke of the 21st century. Chen Fan, do you think that by deliberately humiliating me, you can hide your own filthy intentions? Liu Ru Yan shot up, furious. She raised the bowl in her hand, intending to smash it on my head. But this time, I was no longer the person who would let her do whatever she wanted like before. I raised my hand to block the blow, a faint smile on my face. You don't like being humiliated, do you? Then let's see how you like the taste of being beaten. Liu Ru Yan's expression changed. She sensed something was wrong, but my slap landed a step faster. She was slapped. So hard her head spun and her ears rang, to the point of deafness. Another slap. I rolled up my sleeves and raised my eyebrows. Hey, the master is here. Such a good dog. If not for the circumstances, who would want to be a dog? The wheels of fortune have finally turned. I left the Liu family's house in too much of a hurry before. I didn't get to give you these slaps. So now I'll take this opportunity to slap you to my heart's content. How thoughtful. You even knew to cover the camera lens first. In that case, I won't be polite either. Seeing me about to slap her again, she practically scrambled off the sofa and took several steps back, looking at a Chen Fan who was completely different from her memory. She could finally no longer maintain her arrogant young lady demeanor. She hurriedly pulled her phone out of her pocket. Just as I was charging at her like a mad bull, she turned on the screen and held it right in front of my face and yelled, "Do you really think you've paid off your debt? Look what this is." My raised hand suddenly froze. My gaze shifted to the phone screen. My pupils flickered. On the screen was an email and a transfer history. The email content was, over the past few years, my son has made a lot of money for the Liu family in showbiz. Hasn't he? Even though I scammed you out of 10 million back then, that debt has long been paid off. If you don't transfer me more money, I will reveal the secret of his identity so that everyone will know. He wasn't actually adopted by you from an orphanage. You Liu family members aren't good people at all. You see? The corner of Liu Ru Yan's lips curled up slightly, finally regaining some of her former noble aura. Your father has been harassing me constantly and threatening me nonstop because I couldn't stand the annoyance. I transferred him 5 million. Now, you need to pay off this debt as well. I didn't answer. I just stared silently at that transfer history. After a long moment, I suddenly laughed. You said he's been harassing you for a long time, but this transfer history is from yesterday. That means, no matter how many emails he sent you before, you didn't pay any attention. Yet you coincidentally transferred money to him just yesterday. Am I right? Liu Ru Yan's eyebrows twitched slightly. I kept a smile on my face, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. You obviously ignored him so many times before, which proves you never took his threats seriously. But why did you choose the exact moment I left the Liu family's house to transfer him money? This so-called couldn't stand the harassment is just an excuse. It's just that you realized you'd lost your reason to control me. So you wanted to put a new chain around my neck to make me obediently return to being the Liu family's dog, right? Liu Ru Yan, don't you think you're cheap? Liu Ru Yan, the proud princess of Beijing's high society. You think you are so noble, always acting as if you despise dirty tricks. That's why you never liked me. Netizens always praise her endlessly, saying she lives so freely. A clear stream amidst the world of fame and fortune. But now that your filthy intentions have been exposed, it's clear you're just as scheming as anyone else. Her true intentions exposed, Liu Ru Yan's face twisted. She hastily snatched the phone back. Her voice couldn't hide the panic. Chen Fan, don't use your own dirty tricks to judge others. I am scheming, and you're simple-minded. That's right. You're the purest of them all. How could you women understand such complicated matters, right? I gave a meaningful smile. To Liu Ru Yan, that smile was the ultimate humiliation. She couldn't accept anyone daring to look at her like that, especially someone like me. Before, she always looked at me like I was a joke, but right at this moment, the tables had completely turned. She was the one who had become a real joke. Someone who, in order to achieve their goal, resorts to such lowly tactics, only to have their dirty intentions seen through by others. Liu Ru Yan refused to admit it. Her pride wouldn't allow her to do so either. Chen Fan, don't think that I am the same kind of person as you. You're right. We're not the same. At least I am not as stubborn as you. Compared to her tense expression trying to appear calm, I was completely at ease. I leisurely walked over and sat on the sofa, crossed my arms over my chest, and crossed my legs, smiling brightly at Liu Ru Yan, who was standing there as if being punished. This scene had happened countless times before, except it was usually Liu Ru Yan and her friends, casually sitting on the sofa watching the show, while I had to stand before them and be punished. But now, things were different. I will never let myself be controlled by others again. Whoever asked you for money, you should go and ask that person to pay it back. I never take on debts for others. That 10 million wasn't for paying off his debt, it was for myself. I was only 8 years old then. If I had left the Liu family's house, I wouldn't have been able to survive on my own, so I chose to stay. That 10 million was just to repay the debt for the Liu family raising me. Even though you people didn't do any raising at all, Liu Ru Yan's heart suddenly clenched. She suddenly realized the Chen Fan standing before her now was completely different from the person in her memories. The coldness I was showing was something she had never seen before. It was as if I had become a completely different person. But thinking back carefully, this gaze seemed somewhat familiar. She vaguely remembered that she had once accidentally caught me revealing such a look, even though I had quickly, just for a moment, returned to my harmless, gentle appearance. Before, she always thought those moments were just her imagination, but thinking back now, it seemed there had been clues all along. Chen Fan, could it be that my true personality has always been like this? Liu Ru Yan tried to suppress the turmoil in her heart and asked a question that would completely overturn all her previous perceptions of me. A stray dog that always had to grovel and beg could actually be a fierce wolf with sharp fangs. This dizzying change was hard for her to accept, but my mocking and somewhat pitying look towards her was the only answer she needed. Liu Ru Yan swayed slightly. She felt dizzy, unsure if it was because this information was too shocking, or because of the aftershock from the slap just now. It took her a long time to piece everything together in her head. Just as she was about to step forward and question me loudly, a soccer ball suddenly shot towards her like a rocket and hit Liu Ru Yan squarely in the back of her neck, causing her to fall to the ground instantly. Panicked screams erupted from downstairs. The ball flew into Mr. Chen's room. It seems like it hit someone, too. Miss Chu. Didn't I say the ball should only be kicked to the other side? The person who got hit wasn't Mr. Chen, was it? It seems to be Miss Liu. Then we're even more screwed. I leaned against the window, looking at the chaotic scene below. Then I turned my head to look at Liu Ru Yan, who had fallen to the ground. Speaking of which, it's quite a coincidence. Liu Ru Yan was standing right in front of the balcony, with her back facing outside. If this ball didn't hit her, who would it hit? But, Chu Youyu, you damn brat. You dare kick a ball into my room. I roared downstairs. The culprit, Chu Youyu, slowly raised her head, one hand in her pocket, looking at me with an extremely punchable expression. So you're still conscious. Give me another ball. The atmosphere in the living room was a little tense, but this tension mainly came from the director's team. Liu Ru Yan is not a guest on the show. She just came to visit the set. However, during her visit, she got injured within the show's jurisdiction. The other party is the Liu family. The Liu family has been famous for a long time. However, the person who injured her is a member of the equally famous Chu family. This seemed to compensate for it very well. I think Chen Fan should be responsible for this, because Chu Youyu was originally aiming for Chen Fan. Liu Ru Yan just accidentally took the bullet for Chen Fan, as expected. What kind of logic is that? Chu Youyu suddenly kicked a ball into Chen Fan's room. Chen Fan is the real victim. After watching the show for the past few days, I am really starting to feel sorry for Chen Fan. Oh my. Now I don't see anyone supporting Chu Youyu punishing Chen Fan anymore. Huh. Miss Chu, about Miss Lia's injury. Ma Ningbo smiled and rubbed his hands. He asked cautiously and carefully. All the staff members followed his words, his inquiry, and held their breath in unison, tensely, waiting for Chu Youyu's answer. The culprit, however, sat comfortably on the sofa like a boss, lazily resting her chin on one hand, not showing the slightest bit of worry. Ill. Just pay the hospital bills? What's the big deal? I don't think this is about hospital bills. I don't think Miss Liu will be satisfied with this outcome. Not satisfied? Chu Youyu lazily raised her eyelids slightly. Her gaze swept past the staff members. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. Extremely arrogant. Then just let her die. The hearts of the entire staff skipped a beat. They slowly turned their heads like machines, swallowing loudly. They saw that the door behind them had opened at some point. Liu Ru Yan, with her head wrapped in bandages, was standing there with an extremely gloomy face. Her gaze met Chu Youyu's. That statement from Chu Youyu was said while looking straight at Liu Ru Yan. Provocation. A blatant provocation. Holy crap, what is happening? Isn't Chu Youyu Chen Fan's anti-fan? Why? Why did she suddenly turn against Liu Ru Yan? The Chu and Liu families don't have any grudges, right? Could it be that she hates the family by association? I think she's the type of person who, if she doesn't like someone, she'll fight them to the end. Didn't someone compare Chu Youyu to a vicious dog? Back when she helped her mother fight for the family inheritance against her uncles, she was already famous for biting anyone she came across. Seeing the two of them suddenly looking like they were about to pounce on each other, my memory flashed back to that night at the Liu family's party years ago. The moment Chu Youyu kicked over Liu Baisheng's wheelchair, without a word of warning, for no reason at all, she just kicked it over. It seems that since then, Chu Youyu has had this personality where if she's unhappy, she'll just knock everyone down. Liu Ru Yan frowned so hard she could have crushed a mosquito. But even after being insulted to her face like this, she still didn't get angry directly. Instead, after trying to control her emotions, she asked coldly, Chu Youyu, why are you helping Chen Fan? Chu Youyu's board fiddling with her teacup suddenly stopped. She snorted coldly without a second thought. What the hell does this have to do with Chen Fan? Then why are you provoking me? Liu Ru Yan continued to ask. Chu Youyu, do you want to make an enemy of our Liu family for no reason? Chu Youyu looked as if she had just heard a joke. She glanced at her. Who's really afraid of whom here? A single sentence instantly filled the scene with the smell of gunpowder. The atmosphere was as tense as a drawn bowstring, ready to explode with a single spark. Chen Fan was delighted to witness this scene, eagerly wanting to see how Liu or Yu Yan would handle it. He saw the woman who always acted like she was the center of the universe in front of him, just frown for a long time, then turn around and walk away. It seems it has always been like this. At the Liu family party that year, even though Chu Youyu had kicked over Liu Baisheng's wheelchair, Liu Ru Yan, who was standing right next to him and always claimed to be filial, didn't dare to do anything. Because the Chu family's power far exceeds the Liu family's. It's as simple as that. This world only ever speaks through power. The little drama ended just like that. After Liu Ru Yan left, I couldn't help but pull her out of my block list. For no other reason, just to annoy her. Chen Fan. Hey, Liu Ru Yan. Don't you always act so tough every day? Why are you acting like a coward in a shell out here? The chat box immediately went crazy. The other person is typing text appeared. You could tell Liu Ru Yan had 1,000 things she wanted to say. I am really spoiling her. Waiting until she was about to finish typing all that. With a flick of my hand, I put her on the block list again. Go ahead and stare at that bright red exclamation mark. Chen Fan. Ge Yu Qing had sat down in front of me at some point. Have you really cut ties with the Liu family? Before, when I saw the news online, I thought at most you just had a fight with your family and ran away from home. But looking at the situation today, it's clearly not like that. I had no intention of hiding or avoiding it. Yeah, we've cut ties. It was over before I joined this show. Then you, Gu Yue Qing, wanted to ask why I would offend the Liu family and still dare to cause such chaos on the show. Why not leave yourself a way out? Suddenly, she remembered the cameras were rolling, so she had to swallow the rest of her words. Recalling the promise the two of them made in the bathroom earlier, she pursed her lips and said slowly, what I promised you, I will definitely do it. I smiled in return. What I promised you, I will also complete it. The two of them spoke in riddles that the audience couldn't understand. Just as the comments were buzzing with debate, no one noticed that in a blind spot of the camera, someone was standing in the shadows. Du Si Bei was anxiously and frantically picking at his fingers. His eyes were fixed on me and Gui Yue Qing not far away. What agreement did those two reach? It can't be aimed at me. Can it? Unease. It's really too unsettling. After the storm, Miss Chu Youyu was still leisurely fishing by the lake, as if everything that just happened had nothing to do with her. To have this kind of mental fortitude, one could succeed in anything. Comment, I give up. She can still sit there fishing so calmly. My brain is all twisted up now. I really don't understand anything that happened today. It was already strange that Liu Ru Yan sought out Chen Fan. The two of them talked in the room, and no one knows what they talked about for the whole time. Then Chu Youyu suddenly went crazy and kicked a ball into Chen Fan's room. When she found out the person hit was Liu Ru Yan, she immediately turned to fight with Liu Ru Yan. But what on earth is this drama script? My CPU is fried, and I still don't get it. Do you even know how to fish? And yet you're sitting here. I suddenly appeared in that peaceful scene. I pulled up a stool and sat next to Chu Youyu, casting the line far out. Chu Youyu gave me a sidelong glance. Are you looking to die? Shouldn't I be the one saying that? I wasn't the least bit intimidated by her threatening look. I replied calmly. I just can't understand how a person with a normal brain could be peacefully fishing and then suddenly kick a ball into someone else's room. You came here to settle the score. The corners of Chu Youyu's lips curled up with the same hateful expression as always. Her eyes were filled with the triumph of a successful prank. I kicked it at you. Got a problem with that? So you were really aiming for me. What else? The atmosphere suddenly fell into a strange silence. After a while, Chu Youyu was the first to speak. Chen Fan, you surely didn't come up with any wild and ridiculous ideas, did you? I remained silent, just focused on reeling in my fishing line. Chu Youyu sat there all morning without catching a single fish. Seeing me fill a bucket with fish after just sitting down for 5 minutes, she rushed over and kicked my bucket over. What the? Chu Youyu. I moved as fast as lightning, but I still couldn't save the fish that had fallen into the water. Turning my head back, the culprit was smugly raising her eyebrows at me, constantly provoking. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the fishing rod, ready to fight. Chu Youyu quickly blocked the attack. The two of them started fighting again after exchanging just a few words. Hey, why are they fighting again? I thought we were about to get some mushy romantic scene. Would it kill them to be serious for once? Then I was dead wrong. They might look quiet, but in reality, both are thinking about how to chop the other person into tiny pieces. The great battle between Chen Fan and Chu Youyu was stopped in time by director Liu. Today's filming mission is to experience being an assistant for a day. Assistant for a day? Yao Shuling was stunned. She had a bad feeling. Who's the assistant for whom? It's not me being his assistant, is it? Bai Zhizhou leisurely glanced at her. What are you afraid of? Of course I am afraid of you. Yao Shuling didn't say this out loud, but her expression said it all. It's the anti-fan who will be the artist's assistant for a day, Director Liu said with a smile. As soon as he finished speaking, I leaned back in my chair, mimicking Chu Youyu's usual sarcastic tone. Oh. My. So an anti-fan becomes an artist's assistant. An anti-fan working as an artist's assistant. Hey. Chu Youyu, are you crazy? That's right. The anti-fan becomes the artist's assistant. Director Liu smiled just as brightly. To let the anti-fans understand the artist better, today, we will have the anti-fans step into the artist's life as an assistant to see what an artist's day is like. So today, the artist can go out to work as usual. We've already discussed it with your managers. Artists, please go discuss your work with your managers. We will depart in groups in a little while. The anti-fan works as the artist's assistant. Will the artist's work go smoothly today? Half an hour later, 3 cars departed one by one, including Yao Shuling's luxurious private car, Gu Bei's comfortable commercial vehicle, and my Didi rideshare car. Hey, driver, right next to the pigsty with the red flag. Yes? That's right, the one waving is me. Yes, all right. Seeing me skillfully swap places with the driver, Chu Youyu frowned deeply. It was rare to see her not make a sarcastic remark. It wasn't because she had become kinder. It was mainly because it wasn't convenient to open her mouth right now. It smells too much. Every time she opened her mouth, she'd inhale a lungful of the smell. The pigs next to them kept their heads down, snorting and pushing the food trough. Why is Chen Fan so poor? Didn't his manager come to pick him up? He even had to call a cheap ride share, not even a premium car service. After getting in the car, Chu Youyu had the same question as the audience. Are you putting on a show for me? After fastening my seatbelt in the passenger seat, I glanced at Chu Youyu in the back seat. A meaningful smile appeared on my face. Are you sure you want to sit there? Chu Youyu was so angry, she laughed. If I don't sit here, where do I sit? Get out and run? I raised an eyebrow slightly, then looked away. It's nothing. 10 minutes later, 2 burly men got into the back seat from both sides. By the time Chu Youyu realized something was wrong and wanted to get out, it was already too late. The 2 huge guys slammed the car doors shut, squishing her like the cream in an Oreo cookie. Before Chu Youyu could even say a word, she was squeezed, speechless. She just stared at me with a resentful gaze, her face clearly red. You'd better explain what's going on. I was enjoying the spacious seat in the front, gently shaking my phone. I booked a carpool. After more than an hour of travel, Chu Youyu and I got out of the car, finally able to breathe fresh air. Chu Youyu suppressed the urge to strangle me on the spot. She forced a smile, but was actually grinding her teeth. Interesting. A little bit interesting. Faced with words that were clearly spoken out of rage, I still acted extremely accommodating. If you find it interesting, feel free to do it more often. Do you believe it'll kill you right now? What does it have to do with me? Weren't you the one who chose to sit in the back? I replied logically. Besides, the driver already agreed to drop me off first. What else are you not satisfied with? Don't tell me you don't have a manager. Chu Youyu's fist seemed ready to fly. You're clearly messing with me on purpose. Oh, you guessed that part right. I chuckled. It's true, I don't have a manager. And it's also true that I am messing with you. But the main show hasn't even started yet. Don't tell me you can't take it already. Bang. A barrel of explosives went off on the big screen. Chu Youyu was sitting in a chair. She was almost thrown out of the chair. Before she could even sit steadily, the big screen began a new wave of visual assault. Wind blew and rain fell. The view was turned upside down. Chu Youyu in the chair was blasted by a wind machine. She was soaked by splashing water. In the end, she even, along with the chair, spun wildly in 360 degrees. I slowly lowered my umbrella, smiling at Chu Youyu in her miserable state. This is the super torturous version. Just take your time and improve. Even though she had fastened her seatbelt, she was still thrown to the ground. She struggled to get up, but she slipped on a puddle on the floor. In the end, she unintentionally performed the moonwalk. Chu Youyu slid further and further away. You're dead meat. I enthusiastically stood up and waved. Oh, not bad. Just like that. Slide straight to the post office and get my package for me. Chu Youyu's disaster didn't stop there. Because of the show's rules, the anti-fan, as an assistant, must follow and assist the artist for the entire day. So no matter how dissatisfied she was, she couldn't refuse. She had no choice but to follow me to the amusement park. Don't you say I am not treating you well. Pointing towards the swing ride in the distance, I said very considerately. You got all wet just now. Now it'll help you spin dry. Chu Youyu's whole body stiffened. When she came to her senses, she turned to run, but I was quick to catch her in an arm lock. I dragged her straight towards the swing ride. Chu Youyu's screams echoed through the sky. All the staff members were sweating bullets. Why does it feel like we're filming a different show? This is the torturous version of Go Fighting, not A Journey to Hell. Who is the real anti-fan between these two? Is this the price for being Chen Fan's anti-fan? I get it now. After getting off the swing ride, Chu Youyu was tortured to the point of looking inhuman. She no longer had any strength left to curse at me. You better pray you don't have to be my assistant in the future. Filming the same content twice would be a bit boring. Director Liu probably wouldn't do that, right? After I analyzed it seriously, I gave Chu Youyu a smile. So you can still talk. Let's go for a few more rounds. Ignoring my provocation, Chu Youyu, after recovering, finally brought up the main point of the day. Don't you have to work? I do. I was about to say more when the phone in my pocket suddenly vibrated. I took it out to look. My eyes immediately lit up. Isn't work here now? The sky was starting to get dark. The rideshare car was weaving through traffic. The bustling night scene and rush hour traffic clearly showed the fast pace of the city. The car stopped in front of a music festival gate. This was the liveliest time of the festival. The bands on stage were performing with all their might. The audience below was screaming with excitement. Chu Youyu frowned slightly and asked the question that every viewer of the livestream was wondering. You can sing too? Chen Fan was originally an actor. His singing level was just average, definitely not at a level where he could perform on stage. Faced with that question, I just smiled without saying anything. I just quietly followed the on-site staff backstage to get today's work uniform, a clown costume. 10 minutes later, in the middle of the lively music festival, suddenly appeared a clown handing out balloons. It was right during the artist break. The audience had scattered everywhere to walk around the venue, perhaps because they were still immersed in the previous melody. When the clown offered them balloons, most people chose not to take them. Amidst the bustling crowd, the clown's figure suddenly became unusually lonely. Chu Youyu watched from a distance, her brows furrowed tightly. Those dark eyes, usually as cold as ice, those eyes now showed a flicker of emotion that no one had ever seen before. But the moment the camera turned to her expression changed instantly. It was the same disdainful look as always. The comments on the live stream had already exploded. What the heck? Is this Chen Fan's job? I am telling you, there's a limit to playing the victim. If you're going to put on a show, at least make it believable. This must be scripted. You guys, do you believe that in the next second, there will be a scene where Chen Fan hands out balloons and no one takes them, and then he sits alone in the backstage lounge, takes off his mask, and wipes his tears? But in the very next second, the clown suddenly tied the bunch of balloon strings to his waist. With his hands free, he raised them high. He suddenly did a beautiful front flip. A passerby next to him was startled. They almost thought the horror movie it had come to life. Hey bro, is that a real person or a robot? Must be a real person. Pretty flexible. He can still be so agile wearing that bulky mascot costume. Not bad at all. Hey, can you do another one? Seeing that people were starting to get interested, I didn't let them down at all. Sometimes somersaulting, sometimes doing skillful hand movements, sometimes spinning and dancing. Before long, I was immediately surrounded by people. Cheers and shouts echoed loudly. They took out their phones and snapped pictures of me nonstop. After such a commotion, not only were all the balloons given away, but the passersby found it interesting and automatically uploaded the videos they had just filmed onto various social media sites. This action also created a considerable attraction for the festival, and according to the job description, I eventually had to take off my mask. After all, they still wanted to leverage my celebrity effect. So, when everyone's enthusiasm reached its peak, I followed the request from the organizers through my earpiece and took off the mask. No one expected the person in the clown costume to be a celebrity, so the moment the mask was removed, the atmosphere at the scene seemed to freeze for a second. But the next second, there was an even more explosive frenzy. Ah, it's Chen Fan. Who is that? Who is that? That celebrity. That's right, he's a star. Chen Fan. Can I take a picture with you? Me too. I want one too. Enthusiastic passersby rushed forward with their phones, surrounding me so tightly there was no escape. I cooperated, taking photos with each person one by one, keeping a smile on my face throughout the whole process. By the end, my facial muscles were stiff from smiling so much. Fortunately, the effort paid off, thanks to me livening up the atmosphere so well. The organizers' side took the initiative to give me a bonus. Alipay received 5,000 yuan. Looking at the payment notification on my phone, I satisfactorily wiped the sweat from my forehead, then raised an eyebrow at Chu Youyu. Work's done. Let's clock off. Chu Youyu was leaning against the wall, looking at me casually. She let out a soft sneer. Chen Fan, don't you have a more decent job? As I was packing up, my movements paused. I looked up at her. What is decent? What is not decent? Prancing around like a clown, singing and dancing to please others. Don't you feel ashamed? I only have to work like this for 4 hours to be able to earn 5,000 yuan. My salary has far exceeded the industry standard. What do I have to be ashamed of? Industry standard? Chu Youyu looked like she had just heard a joke. Chen Fan, you're a second-tier celebrity, right? The meaning of this sentence was all too clear for a celebrity of Chen Fan's stature. With his level of fame and influence, the appearance fee alone for an event would be at least 6 figures, and yet I was wearing a thick mascot costume on a sweltering summer night like this, singing and dancing for 4 whole hours, getting myself drenched in sweat. After looking so disheveled, I then took the 5,000 yuan payment and said that I was satisfied. Chen Fan, to the Liu family, 5,000 yuan isn't even enough for one breakfast. Is it? Is this a joke? Isn't Chen Fan trying too hard to clean up his image? The acting is a bit over the top. It will only backfire. At the end of the workday, all 3 guest groups got in their cars to return to Yuehu town. At the same time, a fierce debate erupted on Weibo, from Gusi Bai to Ji Yueqing, then from Yao Shuling to Bai Zhuzhou. It's clear that each group's story today was very exciting, but the keyword with the most heat still had to be Chen Fan. Clicking on the hashtag number passerby shows off photo with Chen Fan number. One picture after another appeared. They were all photos of passersby with Chen Fan. From the festival earlier, the people in the photos were happily making V signs, while I, in the clown costume, looked a bit shabby. My face was flushed from the heat. My bangs were also stuck to my forehead. Even so, I still gave a radiant smile for the camera. This should have been a heartwarming scene, a friendly celebrity taking photos with passersby, but the accompanying captions were extremely bizarre. Chen Fan is so resilient. I am going to cry. Dying of laughter. Went to the music festival today and happened to run into Chen Fan. His real-life personality is really terrible. I said I wanted to take a photo with him, and he glared at me. Chen Fan doesn't have time to joke around with me. The organizers really know how to do business, making Chen Fan work as a clown. I can't stop laughing. It's like he's not even acting. Chen Fan. What activity did the festival have today? They even invited Chen Fan, and even had him wear a mask as a secret guest. Who would even be surprised? I am just terrified. My reputation online isn't good. You could even say it's to the point of being hated by everyone. This isn't the first time this has happened. A passerby runs into me and posts a photo online, then turns around and insults me. Back then, the comment section was flooded with words supporting the original poster's righteous act, as if insulting me was some kind of heroic deed. But this time, public opinion had subtly shifted, perhaps because they saw me working hard at the festival, or perhaps because they witnessed firsthand my patient and friendly smile when I took photos with guests. At that time, the people at the festival didn't notice the hidden cameras that were filming, and because of the information delay, they hadn't been able to watch the live broadcast yet. They posted the photos online as usual and started fabricating stories, thinking they would receive support. But unexpectedly, netizens already knew the truth. If all of this were true, then it's suddenly terrifying. In real life, there are people who say they like me, while deceiving my trust, just to get a photo with me. But the moment they turn around, they post my picture online, and even deliberately crop it to where I am glaring, to fabricate a story about me being arrogant. Could it be that all of Chen Fan's past scandals started this way? Hang in there, Chen Fan. I've seen many photos of Chen Fan with guests before. He was either scowling or smirking. It made me think he was a very scary person. But after following the show for so long, aside from him being a bit crazy, I don't see any evil traits in him at all. I've always found it strange too. I thought his acting was just too good. Turns out what happened today seems to have made me understand the truth. But if they don't genuinely hate Chen Fan, then who would do such a thing for no reason? Suddenly, many voices defending me appeared on the show's forum. The anti-fans immediately couldn't sit still anymore. They all jumped into attack. Chen Fan is starting his own drama again. On one hand, he's building an image of being content with 5,000 yuan. On the other hand, he's spending big money to hire paid commenters on Weibo. There were never this many people speaking well of him before. If you know, you know. Oh my god. How can people still believe Chen Fan is innocent? Chen Fan acted friendly at the festival. It's because he knew there were cameras rolling. Surely no one is foolish enough to believe this, right? As the main character who was just backstabbed, and also suspected of following a script, I use one sentence to express my feelings at this moment. Chen Fan. Damn it. A bunch of idiots. As soon as this status was posted, all of Weibo suddenly went silent. In the car, I, the one who forgot to switch to my alternate account, also fell silent after posting that status. What should I do when I forget to switch to my alt account while flaming people? Chu Youyu sat next to me. She had clearly seen the post as well. She suddenly turned her head, looking at me with an expression of disbelief. Her eyes seemed to say, "Are you crazy?" My finger was still hovering over the delete button for that post. On one hand, I was considering whether to delete it or not. On the other hand, I watched the comment count skyrocket. Finally, when I saw an anti-fan question, "Who are you calling an idiot?" I couldn't take it anymore. A roar as loud as thunder nearly blew out the live stream's microphone. This scream, not only did it make Chu Youyu's ears bleed, but even the driver almost had a seizure. People often say, if a battle cannot be avoided, then it's better to face it head-on. This moment when my identity was exposed felt like every wrinkle in my brain had been smoothed out, an instant feeling of relief, like strolling through a Norwegian wood, or floating on the Pacific Ocean in Sanya, carefree, free as a bird. My hands moved swiftly. My fingertips tapped on the screen with a clatter, so fast that it could almost create sparks. Chu Youyu looked at my frantic state, as if I had just been possessed by a demon. She had a bad premonition. Instinctively, she reached out to snatch the phone, because she felt that if she didn't stop me now, I might just blow up the whole world. But the moment her hand touched it, I swatted it away. The driver hurriedly pulled the car over to the side of the road. Sure enough, the backseat looked like a world war was breaking out. The driver, while marveling at his own quick-wittedness, kicked these two madmen out of the car. Even though Chen Fan was out of the car, his hands didn't stop moving. While running for his life, he was typing continuously. Chu Youyu chased after him so hard her feet were practically smoking. She could only scream helplessly. Chen Fan, stop what you're doing right now. Don't you know that impulsiveness is the devil? On Weibo, the real devil had descended. After countless anti-fans questioned who was being called an idiot, Chen Fan used a speed of 800 comments per second to reply and show everyone the answer. Chen Fan. Idiot, 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 idiot. Chen Fan. Idiot, 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 idiot. The anti-fans were immediately driven mad. They started furiously typing their replies, but in the end, they discovered that insults requiring brainpower were no match for my brainless insults, so they immediately copied Chen Fan's tactic. The two sides engaged in a battle of typing speed. Finally, an enthusiastic netizen named Robert stepped up to resolve the issue. Chen Fan commented in reply to Robert, Chen Fan, aha, then all of you are idiots. A war of words with no skill, only emotion, made the entire internet's collective brain feel smooth. The first celebrity online to have such a smooth brain that he escaped a cyberbullying ordeal has appeared. And the origin of it all was simply because I forgot to switch to my alt account when I went online to flame people. It's over. I stopped in my tracks, finally standing side by side with Chu Youyu, who had just caught up, having failed to stop anything. With her upper lip stretched out, Chu Youyu smiled through gritted teeth. You just had to win that argument, didn't you? Fine. So who won the flame war in the end? There are no winners or losers among the truly strong. Speak human. Both my account and the anti-fans accounts got banned. The Great War is over. It's time to face reality. My official Weibo account was confiscated. I now have nothing left to worry about. At this point, I started thinking about how to get back. It seems the driver left them on a remote road where they couldn't catch a ride. As for the program's camera crew, afraid that these two would go crazy and start biting people, they stood a full 50 meters away. Every time I took a step forward to talk, the staff would retreat 10 steps in terror. All right, it must be because I looked too terrifying just now, Chen Fan said. Chu Youyu, whom I had just blamed in return. Believe it or not, I'll kill you to silence you right now. Do you believe me? The comment section rarely became this harmonious, because no matter how strong the anti-fans were, they couldn't fight against the community of passers-by who just love watching drama unfold. But amidst the countless comments laughing like crazy, there were still some sober-minded people who realized the key point. So why did Chu Youyu try to stop Chen Fan earlier? She seemed very afraid that Chen Fan would say something inappropriate online. Is this how an anti-fan should act? Could it be? She was worried about Chen Fan. They say man proposes, God disposes. No matter how good a person's acting skills are, no matter how well they hide their inner thoughts, in moments of real urgency, they will still reveal their flaws. Chu Youyu admitted that she really panicked earlier, because she had seen me lose my reason before, and how I went crazy, disregarding everything. In that very moment, she was genuinely worried I would, out of impulsiveness, make inappropriate remarks online, and thus ruin my entire career. That's why she couldn't help but try to stop me. At this moment, the two stood under a streetlight, staring at each other. In the distance, the camera that the cameraman was carrying on his shoulder had recorded everything, including everything that had just happened. After Chu Youyu belatedly realized this fact, her body reacted faster than her brain. The crisp sound of something shattering and a sound of emotional, unskilled cursing came from the phone and myself, respectively. With lightning speed, snatching my phone and smashing it on the ground was the culprit, Chu Youyu. She then gave a cold laugh and kicked away the phone fragments. Chen Fan, you took quite a few unflattering photos of me today, didn't you? At the movie theater, and also on the swing ride. I was just about to get angry when my raised fist suddenly stopped midair. My eyes darted around guiltily. How did she find out? But you can't say they're unflattering photos. I am just documenting life. It was just a few hundred shots of Chu Youyu being so scared that her face went pale. Her eyes widened. She felt nauseous. All sorts of expressions. A whole rainbow of colors on her face. Oh, Chu Youyu, you're just not confident enough. Before the lie was even finished, I was put in a headlock and thrown back. On the spot, I recreated Chu Youyu's nauseated expression perfectly. This time, I didn't even bother to pretend anymore. Raising my elbow high, I jabbed it hard into Chu Youyu's stomach. Chu Youyu grabbed my arm, lifted me up and spun me around in the air, and so the scene became. Chu Youyu was gripping my arm tightly, making me wince in pain, while I was choking her, making her eyes roll back. Neither of them would give in, as if they wanted to die together right here and now. Finally, it took a van full of staff members rushing down to intervene, to barely separate the two. Afterward, considering the safety of both, they were taken back in two separate cars. Well, this is great. The rumor crisis has been resolved, and the problem of how to get back was also solved. Comment. So she snatched the phone because of the unflattering photos. I apologize for my silly thoughts earlier. Oh, Chen Fan. The truth proves that you should never ship anyone in a hate-themed show, because there's no damn love to ship in these kinds of shows. When I returned to the small courtyard, the other two groups had already been there for a while. They had clearly also seen the dramatic stories online. At this moment, the looks they gave me were very complicated. Some were wary, some were admiring. Some couldn't understand at all, and some didn't care at all. I heard their two groups today also had quite a few interesting things happen. For example, Gu Sibai took Ji Yueching to attend a commercial event. It was rare to see so many fans show up to support him at the scene. He was excitedly thinking that he had finally gained more fans thanks to the show. But then he discovered this crowd of fans was all there for Ji Yueching. At an event where Gu Sibai was the main star, all the fans were screaming, "Sis, you're so cool. We support you. Defeat that scumbag. I will crown you as queen. Cancel Gu Sibai. Boycott Gu Sibai." I heard that day, the foundation from the brand couldn't sell a single bottle because Gu Sibai, as the brand ambassador, had a face as dark as a thundercloud the whole time, which the foundation couldn't cover. It was truly a successful reverse promotion. As for Yao Shuling's side, today's job was to film a couple's commercial video. It required acting out intimate scenes with a male actor. But on set, Yao Shuling kept making mistakes. She seemed completely out of it. Her eyes kept darting around, as if she was wary of something. The audience only needed to observe a little to realize the person Yao Shuling was secretly glancing at was Bai Ji Zhou. This discovery made the audience turn into Sherlock Holmes once again. They were certain that between Yao Shuling and Bai Ji Zhou, there was definitely some unknown secret. I wonder if today's experience as an assistant for a day has made our anti-fans see things differently about their respective celebrities. If not, that's okay too. Mending relationships always takes time. We still have a lot of time ahead of us. After ending today's filming with director Leah's farewell, just after Chen Fan finished showering, he heard Ji Yueching knock on his door. Seeing Ji Yueching at the door with a grim expression, my hair-drying motion paused for a beat. What's wrong? I feel like something's wrong. Ji Yueching entered the room. After confirming no one was outside, she closed the door. Director, Liu seems to really want us to make peace. He wants to eliminate the friction between anti-fans and celebrities. I think that's his real purpose for filming this show. If that's the case, then for all future filming segments, he will stage everything with that goal in mind. In that case, in the end, the production team definitely won't be on my side. Hearing what Ji Yueching said, I understood her worries. Based on the conversation I overheard at the hospital before, the show was intended to be staged from the very beginning. According to director Liu, he had tried to bribe Ji Yueching before. It's just that the bribe failed. So Ji Yueching, who knew this information, was worried director Liu would pull some shady tricks later, which is completely understandable. So you came to find me. Is it because you want my help with something right now? That night, Ji Yueching stayed in my room. The two of them stayed up all night, studying the report, listing 1,000 of Gu Sibai's weaknesses, just to find a loophole to take him down. And on that very same night, Gu Sibai, who was sleeping in his room on the first floor, suddenly woke up in terror. He jolted awake from a deep sleep, feeling a chill run down his spine. His whole body was trembling like a leaf. It's really a very ominous feeling, he suddenly remembered. Before going to bed, it seemed he heard Ji Yueching leaving her room and going upstairs. And after that, he never saw her come back down. And upstairs was Chen Fan's room. This won't do. He couldn't just sit here and wait for his doom. He hurriedly pulled out his phone. His finger swiped quickly across the screen, finding a familiar name in his contacts. After a moment of consideration, he typed out a message and hit send. He glued his eyes to the phone screen until the message's status showed as read. Only then did he slowly narrow his eyes, revealing an expression as if victory was already in his grasp. Just you wait, Chen Fan. Good morning, everyone. Today, we'll be playing a morning game, Treasure Hunt Under the Lake. The rules are very simple. Based on the anti-fan and celebrity pairs, you will be divided into 3 groups. You will row 3 boats to the middle of the lake. We have placed a total of 50 buoys on the lake's surface, but among them, only 5 buoys have a prize hidden underneath. The rewards include, but are not limited to, lunch, cash, lunch vouchers, cooking ingredients, and so on. As for the remaining surprises, you'll have to discover them for yourselves. The game time is half an hour. How you can win rewards for yourselves will depend entirely on you. Wooden boats, paddles, life jackets, everything is ready. The buoys on the lake bobbed with the waves. On a beautiful early morning like this, a dramatic competition officially begins. After fastening my life jacket, I picked up the paddle and gave Chu Youyu a provocative smile. Those without real strength often act like this. Do you want to be thrown off the boat? Chu Yu smiled. She also grabbed another paddle. Let's see you get a taste of what real strength is. Just hearing this pure hatred team talk, there's no technique to be seen. It's just the pure emotion of wanting to tear the other person apart. You just know another day in the world of anti-fans has begun. As for Gu Zibai and Ji Yueching, They also started their interaction for the new day. Yuqing, I won't let you go hungry for lunch. Being on the same team as me, you can rest completely assured. So what if I eat? Yuqing shot Gu Zibai a cold glance. Doesn't the sight of you just make me sick to my stomach? What a great comeback. So satisfying. Sometimes I suspect Gu Zibai is a masochist. He knows full well he'll get cursed at the moment he opens his mouth. Yet, he has to go through it once every day to be satisfied. Or maybe there's this possibility. It's doing it on purpose. I suggest Gu Zibai pay a fee to get cursed at from now on. He gets to be cursed at without even paying. Why does he get to have all the good things? I support this. I wholeheartedly agree with your opinion. As for Yao Shuling and Bai Zhihao's group, because of the delicate atmosphere between the two, it gives off a strong sense of déjà vu, like their ex-lovers. So the gossip-loving netizens have dubbed them the ex-lovers CP. Right now, it's unclear what happened between them, but they haven't said a word since filming began. Between them, forget about conversation, they don't even make eye contact. The two sat one behind the other on the wooden boat. The atmosphere was as cold as ice. What genius came up with the name ex-lovers CP? Don't say it. It really fits, though. I really don't get it. Bai Zhizhou is Yao Shuling's anti-fan. If he saw this name, he'd probably die of disgust. Everyone watching this show is just here for the drama. Whoever takes it seriously is the one who loses. When all three boats were ready, Ji Yuqing and I exchanged a look, and slowly broke into a cunning smile. Extermination. The plan to take down Gu Zibai officially begins. Sitting in front of Ji Yuqing, he was completely unaware, but suddenly, Gu Zibai sneezed and instinctively shrank back. He wondered, looking up at the sky. Is it this cold today? The 30-minute countdown starts now. After Assistant Director Ma Pi's energetic shout, the game officially began. And the three boats set off aggressively in unison. It's about lunch, so it's really important. All three groups seemed to have put aside their grievances for now. Their hearts only longed for the prize buoys. But, I am sorry, there's a system bug among them. And it's me, the one who was hip-checked down the mountain by Gu Zibai a few days ago. That's why I got a week of free nutritional meals. I am the only one who, even if I fail this game, will still have a proper meal to eat. In other words, I can do whatever I want in this game. The corners of my mouth slowly turned up. You didn't see this coming, did you? Gu Zibai. The boomerang you threw is about to come right back and hit you in the forehead. The paddle in my hand suddenly changed direction. The bow of the boat immediately swerved 90 degrees to the right. Chu Youyu, completely unprepared, was almost thrown off by the force, thrown out. Huh, what's happening? Mr. Chen and Miss Chu's boat has suddenly veered off course. There aren't any buoys over there. The voice of commentator Ma Pijing echoed from the shore. Chen Fan, are you directionally challenged? I completely ignored Chu Yu's helpless screams. At this moment, my eyes narrowed in focus. My body leaned forward. My whole body was in the posture of a raging bull. In my eyes, there was only one target. Gu Zibai. Up ahead. Weakness number 56 out of Gu Zibai's 1,000 weaknesses. He absolutely hates water, because he finds being soaking wet very uncomfortable. Back in college, he once slipped on the sports field, fell into a puddle, and cursed up a storm right on the spot. His image was completely shattered. Ji Yuqing. Gu Zibai once publicly said in an interview that, in the environment he was raised in since childhood, the concept of swearing and cursing never existed. Therefore, he has never sworn. If we can make Gu Zibai swear once on live television, it would prove that his previous interview was a lie. Once the lie is exposed, his never tells a lie persona will vanish into thin air. Recalling last night's conversation, I slowly lifted the paddle in my hand. In the back seat, Chu Youyu finally managed to get up and sit steadily in her seat again. Seeing this, she frowned slightly. She had a bad feeling. Chen Fan, what are you planning to do? The last word had just left her lips. It exploded with sheer terror and incredible speed, because I was like a man possessed by a raging bull. I frantically swung the paddle, like a propeller spinning at high speed. The wooden boat, as if it had lost its mind, shot forward at a dizzying speed. The waves it stirred up were like precise slaps, hitting everyone around right in the face. Yao Shuling covered her face. Her expression was one of shock. Bai Zhizhou shielded his face, frowning in confusion. Chu Yu was knocked over right where she sat by the waves. Ji Yuqing had managed to open an umbrella to shield herself. Oh my god. Chu Youyu flew out. Gu Zibai seemed to have a sudden attack. He was so scared, his whole body trembled. He only felt an extremely intense sense of foreboding. So strong it felt like it was rushing right at his face. The moment he turned his head, he was suddenly speechless. He only saw me leaning forward, my two hands flailing like a whirlwind. My eyes flashed with a ferocious light. My hair stood on end in the wind, looking like the father of a Super Saiyan had arrived. And right at this moment, I only had one thought in my mind. Go on and swear. The slaps of water rained down on Gu Zibai. All of them smacked against his pale face. However, Gu Zibai didn't feel like he was about to be slapped to death. It was more like he was about to drown. His face was filled with pain. His whole body was sticky and uncomfortable. Gu Zibai felt his sanity completely slipping away. Anger rushed straight to his head. A curse on his entire family was about to escape his lips. Enfu. Gurgle gurgle. Huh. Gurgle gurgle. Dad. After uttering that last word, he fainted. My paddling motion suddenly stopped. Ji Yuqing also lowered the umbrella in her hand. The two of them looked at each other, seeing the doubt in the other's eyes. Does what he just said count as swearing? Commentator Mapai was so shocked he was speechless for a long time. Only now did he start to hastily commentate. Oh my goodness. Everyone, you truly cannot imagine what just happened. Contestant number 3, Mr. Chen. Because he accidentally turned the wrong way, tried to speed up to save the situation. But he accidentally used too much force, causing the lake to become extremely choppy. Not only did it affect 3 innocent contestants, but it even evoked a deep fatherly love in the heart of contestant number 1, Mr. Gu. In that life or death situation, our contestant number 1 must have entered a near-death state, activating a flashback, and saw his beloved father in a hallucination. That's why he was able to let out such a desperate cry of dad, Mapai said while wiping away his tears. I never would have expected. Our Mr. Ju is such an emotional person. After hearing the commentary, Ji Yuqing and I looked at each other silently. We failed. At this moment, the bullet comments were also strangely harmonious. I love this so much. Times 10086. Even though they were still shocked by the scene just now, which made the whole crowd shout, holy crap. But after Gu Zibai shouted for his father, they were all kind enough to respond. Isn't the government encouraging people to have children? Then ill accept this son. This is just too shocking. This is the first time I've seen such an explosive show. I can only say that everyone's understanding of Chen Fan is not even at 1%. 5 minutes later, Gu Zibai slowly regained consciousness. He looked at the calm and tranquil surface of the lake, the peaceful beauty of the water. Everything that just happened seemed like just a hallucination. No, it wasn't a hallucination. He clearly remembered the moment he lost all reason and uttered that shameful word. But looking at the calm expressions of those around him, as well as the professional attitude of the staff on the shore as usual, it seemed like they didn't even realize he had just sworn. That was dangerous. My image almost collapsed. I got one. I was participating in the game very seriously, as if all the terrible things that just happened had nothing to do with me. I fished a buoy with a piece of paper tied to it out of the water, and read the contents written on it aloud. Ticket to the chicken coop. What does that mean? Director Liu stood on the shore, making a ruckus. He said with a radiant smile, congratulations to Mr. Chen for getting the cooking ingredients prize. A ticket to the chicken coop. This means that everything inside that chicken coop can be used by Mr. Chen as cooking ingredients. It doesn't seem like the time to celebrate, does it? Chu Youyu forced a smile. I glanced at her. Are you complaining? Then go get one yourself. Is this really the time to be fishing for these things? Chu Yu still smiled as before. Then what should I be fishing for? An angry hashtag seemingly just appeared above Chu Yuyu's head. This noble region of the Chu family, though seething with rage, still tried to keep a smile on her face. Of course, you should be pulling me out of the water first. I am laughing so hard it hurts. Everyone. Gu Zibai quietly observed my every move, not missing a single detail. He then glanced warily behind him, where Ji Yuqing was focused on paddling. Ji Yuqing glared at him. Are your hands broken? Don't you know how to paddle? Everything seemed normal. Could it be that what happened just now was really just an accident? Gu Zibai quickly composed his expression. He gave a gentle smile and said, it's okay. Yuqing, I can do it. It's all my fault. I must have scared you when I fainted just now, right? I'll try to make it up to you later. I absolutely won't let you go hungry for lunch. He smiled, his expression full of concern, the image of a perfect gentleman. As always, he was maintaining it very well. This show was much harder to deal with than had imagined. Every step was like walking on thin ice. Danger lurked everywhere. Wait, as if suddenly realizing something, Gu Zibai abruptly covered his mouth. He looked up at me in horror. No, there was nothing peaceful and good here at all. All this tranquility, it was all fake. He had fallen into the trap long ago. I turned my head and gave him a sinister look. The corner of my mouth lifted into an extremely bizarre smile. Gu Zibai's breath hitched for a moment. He suddenly covered his mouth even tighter. He abruptly turned to look at Ji Yuqing behind him. Ji Yuqing lowered her head slightly. The shadows hid her eyes. Only her lips, exposed to the air, were slowly curving into a meaningful smile. This scene was scarier than a horror movie. A strange, frantic feeling washed over him. Gu Zibai could only desperately cover his mouth to suppress it. The so-called dousing him with water was just a smokescreen. Making him drink water in the process was their real goal. Weakness number 2. 137 out of Gu Zibai's 1,000 weaknesses. His digestive system isn't very good. Whenever he drinks a lot of water, he gets persistent hiccups. Therefore, he always controls the amount of water he drinks each time, to avoid ruining his image in public. Ji Yuqing. Gu Zibai once stated in an interview that he believes hiccuping or farting are uncivilized behaviors. Even if they are natural physiological reactions, one should consider the feelings of others and find a place to deal with it privately. Therefore, in his entire 25 years of life, he has never done those things in front of anyone. He never thought about emergency situations where you absolutely can't control your physiological reactions. At that time, I couldn't help but ask. Ji Yuqing said that at the time, the show's host had also asked him this question, and his answer was, he would rather hold it in until he died. He'd rather let his body die than let this elegance disappear. After a brief silence, I commented, in that case, he's really just asking to die. Right at this very moment, Gu Zibai finally encountered An emergency situation where he couldn't control his body's reaction. The him of the past only knew how to stand there and speak empty words. Speaking without thinking just to build a perfect image. It once caused a portion of his crazy fans to cyberbully innocent people. Now, the boomerang of fate has returned to hit him squarely. Right now, he was covering his mouth tightly, holding it in until his face turned purple. Gu Zibei's eyes looked like they were about to pop out. How would he react? Ji Yuqing and I were ready to see how Gu Zibai would deal with this crisis. No matter how good of a pretender he was, he couldn't resist his body's instincts, that natural reaction. Reality has proven that being pretentious for too long eventually comes with a price, and this was about to be confirmed on Gu Zibai himself. A few seconds later, the strangest scene in the history of reality shows appeared. Putting aside the continuous scandals being exposed, the man with the elegant image, one of the most perfect in the entertainment industry, after a few seconds of straining to cover his mouth with a bizarre expression, suddenly let go of his hands, as if having made a huge resolution. He looked up at the sky and let out a roar that reached the heavens. He let out 3 earth-shattering screams. Hick! Hick! The paddle in Ji Yuqing's hand fell right into the boat. As for me, I slipped and almost tumbled out of my seat. Chu Youyu, who was floating in the water, also frowned and looked over, as if looking at a lunatic. Yao Shuling was busy paddling, and Bai Zhishu's face was covered in question marks. Commentator Mei Pijing on the shore, after a few seconds of stunned silence, hesitantly picked up the microphone. Tilting his neck back, he sang to the heavens. Gu Zibei's elegant image was considered preserved, but he was also labeled as someone lacking basic education, because netizens thought that at that moment, he was moved by the lake's scenery and wanted to recite a poem. Who knew he would misread the poem goose? Goose as hick, hick, hick. Hashtag Gu Zibai is stupid. In his room, after seeing this trending topic, Gu Zibai was silent for a long time, before slowly putting down his phone. Well, it's fine. Actually, there was no other way. At least netizens would rather believe he's stupid than suspect he was hiccuping. It was enough to show how deeply the persona he had painstakingly built was ingrained in the minds of netizens. Looking at it another way, this was also a good thing. It's just that, this time, Chen Fan and Ji Yuqing had caused him such big trouble. He would definitely not let them off. However, he wasn't clear about Ji Yuqing's background. Moreover, she knew him extremely well. It seemed she was a tough character to deal with. In that case, he could only pick on the easier target. He knew Chen Fan's weaknesses like the back of his hand. Regarding lunch, everyone please rely on the rewards won from this morning's game to take care of yourselves. Additionally, the production team will not provide any other assistance. The happy free time activity has begun. I wish you all a good time. I leisurely ate the nutritional meal prepared by the show, watching Yao Shuling sitting on the sofa in the living room. I asked curiously, aren't you going into town? The prize their group got was lunch money. Bai Zhizhou had already taken the money and gone to the town across the way. Yao Shuling was on the same team but didn't go with him. I am not hungry. I am on a diet. Yao Shuling only gave that brief reply. Then she went straight upstairs to her room. I thought deeply. The grudges and romantic entanglements between those two are really difficult for an outsider to understand. While I was lost in thought, the food tray in front of me was suddenly pulled away. Chu Youyu, who had just finished showering and changed into clean clothes, now had a towel draped over her shoulder. She had a cheeky expression as she stole my food. Thanks to someone, I fell into the water. Now I've caught a chill. It seems like I am showing signs of a cold, too. The show staff said, I have to hold you responsible for this. Is that a reason to steal my food? I reached out to pull the tray back, but found that she was holding it tightly. Didn't I already give you the meal ticket? Are you talking about that ticket to the chicken coop? Chu Youyu laughed out of anger. Why don't you just give me a ticket to the pigsty? Do I need a ticket to go to my own home? I really have a sharp tongue. That would be too formal, wouldn't it? Chu Youyu, are you looking for death? Can you two stop arguing for a bit? Seriously, I am not kidding. If you keep arguing like this, you'll develop feelings for each other. The food tray was being pulled back and forth across the table. At this rate, one of them is bound to flip the table, and then neither of them will get to eat. Finally, I got angry too. I slammed my hand on the table. Isn't it just a chicken coop? I'll go with you. Is that okay? Actually, I am craving roasted chicken myself. Why would Chu Youyu lower herself to steal my food? This story starts from the first night of filming the show. That day, Chu Youyu failed her mission, so she called her assistant to drive from the city and bring her food. But the very next day, I snitched on her to the director. That's why Director Liu strictly sealed off the area around the small courtyard, forbidding all unauthorized personnel from entering or leaving. Otherwise, with Chu Yuyu's personality, how could she have obediently cooperated in this morning's game? Although, it can be considered that it was completed. If you want to eat one, go catch it yourself. Make yourself at home. I put on protective gloves. Let me tell you beforehand. You do the work, you get to eat. Don't expect me to help you. You know how to catch a chicken? Are you kidding me? Chu Youyu scoffed. Watch out, or the chickens will think you're food and peck you. The two sides glanced at each other. The flames of war ignited again. A war without gunpowder officially began. Sorry about this. The chicken egg is mine. Just ask if these gloves of mine agree first. The two of them rushed forward at the same time. charging straight towards the chicken nest. The chickens were scared out of their wits, flapping their wings and scattering everywhere. But unfortunately, the chicken nest was empty. The team's cook stood at the door. He scratched his head sheepishly and said, "I just finished taking them all." Chu Youyu and I looked at each other. Both of us were speechless. If there was no hope for chicken eggs, then the only option was to set our sights on something else in the chicken coop. That was the only chicken with a lame leg, so it had difficulty walking. The easiest one to catch in the flock. Both of us could read the intention in the other's eyes. Chu Yu was the first to move, leaving Chen Fan far behind. I wasn't about to be outdone. I rushed forward and grabbed Chu Yuyu's calf tightly. Due to inertia, Chu Youyu tumbled to the ground. "Chen Fan, are you looking for death?" The young miss of the Chu family flew into a rage on the spot. She bent one leg and leaped forward. I immediately met her move. I also grabbed one leg and charged forward fiercely. Just like that, the two of them started a battle in the chicken coop. A tense and dramatic cockfight. Are they crazy? The chickens are about to be scared to death. Wait a minute. Scaring them to death. Are they trying to catch the chickens after they faint? Haha fan chicken, haha fish chicken. These people are really something else. The show Black Fan Dominates the World often features scenes that the audience can't possibly understand. The level of absurdity is beyond question, like these two who are supposed to be catching chickens right now. Before catching a single chicken, they've already started a 300-round cockfight with each other. In the end, both of them were exhausted and collapsed on the ground. Just then, it started pouring rain outside the chicken coop. This is just great. No chickens were caught, and now we can't even leave. The cameramen outside were rushing. They carried their cameras to get waterproof tarps. During the short break from the cameras, I got up from the ground. I offered my hand to Chu Youyu, who was sitting on the ground. Chu Youyu froze for a moment. Her throat suddenly felt a little tight. Her tone was still not very friendly. "What is it? What do you mean? What is it? Hurry up." I extended my hand a little further. "Chen Fan, are we that close? Don't you pull this kind of trick. Don't think I'll spare you just because you're acting nice. I am not." Before I could finish my sentence, her breath suddenly caught in her throat. It was because I suddenly bent down. The distance between the two of them in that moment had become extremely close. Chu Youyu had always known what kind of person she was. Other people have love brains, career brains, but she had a serious case of Chen Fan brain. Her mood changed with Chen Fan's every frown and smile. Her attention was captivated by Chen Fan's every move, but she never dared to stand in front of me, to talk to me properly. In her memory, aside from their interactions on this show, their most recent conversation seemed to have taken place 6 years ago, at a dinner party of the Chu family. "Is your leg all right? The material of that wheelchair is quite hard." The 8-year-old boy standing in the backyard of the party had shown his concern for her. That should have been a good opportunity for them to get to know each other. But she couldn't help but freeze up completely. Her mouth felt like it was glued shut. She couldn't utter a word. She really wanted to say something then. She really did. But in the end, she couldn't say anything. She could only watch as I placed a jar of ointment on the stone table beside her, and then left, she thought. Her expression back then must have been terrifying. Otherwise, my steps wouldn't have been so hurried as I left. For a long time after that, she always regretted not being able to speak up that night. But after experiencing a few things, she felt lucky for her silence that time. So, before deciding to join this show, she had trained herself for a long time, so that when they met again, she could smoothly open her mouth and speak in front of me, even if it meant saying harsh words. "Chen Fan, I've hated you for a long time. Chen Fan, just wait until your career is cancelled. Chen Fan, you've finally fallen into my hands. I won't let you off this time." Perfect. Right. No way. Every single line was carefully prepared, rehearsed countless times in front of my picture, adjusted after thousands of failures, to get the most suitable emotion. After all, it's just acting. It can't be that hard. Chu Youyu came to the show with that thought, but then she discovered she was wrong. It was hard, harder than reaching for the sky. The softness she felt whenever she saw me, the stiffness whenever there was physical contact, the intense fluttering in her heart when my eyes were on her, all of it was reminding her, this is so hard. This is really too difficult. Fortunately, she was still holding on, but how much longer could she hold on? She didn't know. At least, right at this moment, it was raining, in the chicken coop, without any cameras. There was only the stirring space for the two of them. My sudden act of leaning in close caused the thread of reason in her mind to quietly snap. Whose heart was it that was beating restlessly? Suddenly, she wanted to throw all reason away in this moment, to tell me everything, and then she could help me openly and justifiably. However, Chu Youyu suddenly pinched my face, and abruptly pushed me an arm's length away. The corner of her mouth twitched slightly. She gritted her teeth. "Chen Fan, are you looking to die? Is that the only line you have?" I tried to push Chu Yui's hand away. I laughed in frustration. "Hey, girl, do you have to make me spell it out for you? You're freaking sitting on my shoe." Only then did Chu Youyu notice that I was barefoot on one side. As for the shoe, during the cockfight, it had flown off due to the exertion, and now she was sitting right on it. So it was a misunderstanding, so I wasn't trying to. "Give me back my shoe." Just as I was about to pounce and snatch my shoe back, a voice, trying to suppress its anger, came from outside the chicken coop. "Chen Fan." My actions froze. I turned my head to look, only to see a woman in a black tracksuit, holding a black umbrella, standing in the middle of the rain. She was looking at me with an extremely gloomy expression. Chen Fan frowned slightly. Why is this dog here again? In broad daylight. Truly. Morals have decayed, Chen Fan. After leaving the Liu family, you've become increasingly ill-mannered. Liu Ru Yan seemed to have temporarily forgotten her disheveled state from yesterday. She had regained her previous arrogant demeanor, acting bossy towards me. Clean yourself up and get out here. Don't make me say it a second time. Chu Youyu, who was about to give the shoe to Chen Fan, after witnessing this scene, her eyes darkened imperceptibly. Chu Youyu, give me the shoe, I said. Seeing this, Liu Ru Yan smirked with satisfaction. Chu Youyu glared at me. I won't. Give it to me. What are you going to do if I don't? Seeing my hurried expression, Chu Youyu recalled the days I spent at the Liu family, always obeying Liu Ru Yan's every command. She suddenly laughed out of anger. Chen Fan, you've already left the Liu family. You should stand up for yourself. Not patient enough to listen to her lecture, I quickly snatched the shoe from her hand and threw it hard towards Liu Ru Yan. It hit her right on the left cheek. Her clean face was immediately imprinted with a shoe sole mark, and while she staggered back from the blow, while her mind was still reeling, she saw the man in the chicken coop take off his other shoe, holding it in his hand, spinning it around. Then he let go. The shoe flew. Smack. This time, her right cheek also got a complimentary mark. While she was still in a daze, she only heard my voice, full of exasperated affection. I told you to give me the shoe. What if she ran away because you were too slow? Good thing, I reacted quickly. Why did you have to take the shoe from my hand? Because I wanted to throw both of them. Is there a problem? This is called dealing double damage. Got it. Director Liu, didn't you say the surrounding area was sealed off? That unauthorized personnel couldn't enter? I am just maintaining order for the film crew. I was just afraid she was a malicious person trying to attack the crew. I had found a ridiculously absurd excuse for my actions, but as long as I was shameless enough, it would be an excuse the director couldn't refute. Director Liu was indeed speechless. So, under the gaze filled with pressure and threats from Liu Ru Yan, he ignored her threat and agreed with my explanation. Reasonable my ass. Isn't the commenter above a sock puppet account for Liu Ru Yan? It feels like they've hit the nail on the head about what she's feeling right now. So can someone tell me, why is Liu Ru Yan here again today? Didn't she just come yesterday? That's what I am saying. Her relationship with Chen Fan right now is definitely not simple. Regarding Liu Ru Yan's appearance, Director Liu gave an explanation. Starting today, Miss Liu will be participating as a special guest, joining us in the filming process of our show. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire set immediately erupted. Not to mention that Liu Ru Yan is not in the entertainment industry at all. Previously, she was extremely averse to being secretly photographed by paparazzi or being interviewed by reporters. How could such a person agree to participate in a showbiz reality show? Those who knew a little about Liu Ru Yan all looked towards me at this thought. Who did she come for? It seemed all too clear. Regarding the love-hate relationship between Liu Ru Yan and Chen Fan, is it really like the online rumors say, that only Chen Fan was the persistent one? Or is there some other hidden story? I have a feeling this show is going to get more and more interesting. I have a question. After noticing that my expression was off, Yui Qing raised her hand. May I ask? On what basis is Miss Liu joining the show? In what capacity? Isn't this a show about celebrities and their anti-fans? Miss Liu is not a celebrity, nor is she anyone's anti-fan. The title of special guest doesn't sound very convincing. Regarding this, Director Liu already had an answer prepared. Miss Liu is joining as a sponsor. You mean, she paid her way in? That's awesome. He's not even trying to beat around the bush. There aren't many directors this straightforward anymore. Everyone, watch and appreciate it. Did you all see the look Liu Ru Yan is giving Director Liu? Ha 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 ha. I am dying of laughter. The first special guest in history to openly use unspoken rules to join has appeared, but the gossip-loving audience didn't object at all. Related topics quickly climbed the trending list. Number Liu Ru Yan. Number Chen Fan in the same frame on a reality show. Number Liu Ru Yan parachutes in. Number unspoken rules. Number Liu Ru Yan joins the show for Chen Fan. Number Liu Ru Yan has a secret crush on Chen Fan. Let's not talk about the first four. What the hell is the fifth one? I wonder if the content creators laughed when they typed these words. Actually, that's not it. It's the complete opposite. I am not so sure. Hey. First commenter. How do you explain Liu Ru Yan? When faced with the broken engagement and Chen Fan leaving home, didn't choose to go abroad to find her groom, but instead came to a reality show to chase after Chen Fan? The tables have turned again. Turns out it wasn't unrequited love from Chen Fan's side, but Liu Ru Yan was a pretentious person all along. Everyone knows that. The Liu and Du families have a business alliance. Is it possible that the person Liu Ru Yan has always liked is Chen Fan, but because of her status, she refused to lower her head? The forbidden love of the wealthy non-biological siblings. Chen Fan v. Stop talking nonsense. Hey. Netizen above. Don't be so rude. Holy crap. Who are you? The man himself has arrived. Chen Fan, shouldn't you be filming properly? What are you doing on your phone? Forgetting to switch to my alt account for the second time, I fell silent. It took Director Leah's voice to snap me out of it. That is the full schedule of activities for today. What activities? I, who hadn't been listening at all, turned to ask Yu King beside me. Tonight, there's a welcome party for Liu Ru Yan. well, have a banquet in the small courtyard. We all need to prepare the dinner together. After hearing this, I put on a disgusted expression. Can't she just eat in the pigsty? Liu Ru Yan glanced over coldly. Chen Fan, I heard that. Then go eat there. Chu Youyu's gaze lifted from her phone screen. The chaotic comments online were annoying her. In her line of sight was the scene of Liu Ru Yan talking to me. Their conversation faintly reached her ears. Liu Ru Yan, what the hell do you want? To take you back? Are you crazy? You belong to the Liu family. I am your master. Chu Youyu frowned slightly. Her fingertips swiped across her phone screen. As expected, the nonsensical comments have been updated. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Did you hear that? Chen Fan said he's Liu Ru Yan's master. What kind of master literature is this? Are they this kinky when they're alone? That's not the main point, is it? The main point is that Liu Ru Yan is so domineering on the outside. But in reality, Chen Fan is the master. I had no idea that a slip of the tongue about being her master would drive netizens crazy. In my mind, I was just thinking about how to make this bitch Liu Ru Yan leave the show on her own. I came here to see it through to the end, get the money, and retire. But Liu Ru Yan seems to want me to give up halfway. Our goals are completely opposite. I am afraid things will be very troublesome from now on. Liu Ru Yan will become the biggest variable on my path to freedom. Chen Fan, get in the car. I was lost in thought when someone suddenly called me. I turned my head to look. Chu Youyu was sitting in the driver's seat of a car. She rolled down the window and glared at me. What? Trying to be lazy? It's time to go shopping now, because the ingredients in the small courtyard are running low. There isn't enough to prepare for tonight's big party. So Director Liu had prepared money for them, for the whole group to go into the city to shop. I was just about to speak when another voice called out from a different direction. Chen Fan, come here. Liu Ru Yan was in another car. She gave a slight nod to Chu Youyu. Miss Chu probably doesn't want to see him, right? He can just ride in my car. Chu Youyu's fingertips on the steering wheel secretly tightened, but she still had a smile on her face. I never said I didn't want to. Aren't you his anti-fan? Miss Chu? One on the left, one on the right. A back-and-forth confrontation. The smell of gunpowder seemed to be quietly spreading in the air. What kind of bloody battlefield is this? Something is wrong here, no matter how you look at it. Chu Youyu shouldn't be a part of this battlefield. Liu Ru Yan wanting Chen Fan to ride in her car. I can understand that. But what's up with Chu Youyu? Doesn't she hate Chen Fan to the point where she can't stand him? Could there be another plot twist? I glanced to the left. Then I glanced to the right. Since 7 people couldn't fit in one car, the production team had arranged for 2 cars. Right now, the people in Liu Ru Yan's car were Gu Zibai, Yao Shulin, and Chu Youyu, and in the other car were Gui Yuqing and Bai Zizhou. Indeed, I was the only one left who hadn't made a choice. Oh my, what kind of dog blood drama is this? Why are they making people choose like this? They often say, adults should have backbone. I strode towards Liu Ru Yan's car. Chu Youyu's fingertips unconsciously tightened, while Liu Ru Yan showed a smug look, as if victory was already in her grasp. But in the next second, I flung open the driver's side door with one hand, and dragged Liu Ru Yan out, giving her a kick right in the butt. While she was staggering, I quickly slid into the driver's seat, closed the door, buckled my seatbelt, stepped on the gas, and sped off. Gu Zibai, who was sitting in the passenger seat waiting to see Chen Fan's good show, was scared out of his wits this time. It was just like borrowing a tiger's might, but the tiger was kicked out of existence, and then a lion majestically took its place. Liu Ru Yan turned back in disbelief. Before the fire of anger in her eyes could even erupt, she heard another engine start. The next second, Chu Youyu's car also sped past her, driving straight ahead without a second glance. Things have developed in a way I never expected, organizing a welcome party for Liu Ru Yan, but not even giving Liu Ru Yan a ride. Only you guys could pull something like this off.